That is what I'm talking about, y'all. It is the kid. What's up, y'all? It's the most hated yet anticipated Mikey T, the movie star. What is popping, everybody? Mikey T, the movie star's back. Everybody watching on YouTube, hit the link in my bio. Excuse me, everybody watching on Instagram, hit the link in my bio right now and come join me on YouTube right now. Everybody come join me on YouTube right now. You want to know about the boxing match? Well, come join me on YouTube. Hit the link in my bio. Shout out Shantae. What's up? Shout out Shantae. What you get the fuck out of here? Hit the link in my bio. All right, you guys, what is going on? Mikey T, the movie star. We are live tonight. We're going to be talking about some things, man. We're going to be talking about Lloyd Banks tonight. We're going to be talking about his new album, the Lloyd Banks new album. My special co-host of the night from Philly, Rosewood, has been listening to the album all day, so we're going to get a big review from Rosewood tonight. What up, Stain? Gretzky, what's popping with you? Well, right now, I'm actually smoking on some good runts. Right now, I'm on some runts, but I also got some jet fuel, and I also got some gelato, the LA gelato. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Dorchester, Boston is in the building. Massachusetts. Shout out my bro Millie's in the building. Everyone share this video. Share this video, you guys. Tonight, we're actually going to be talking about the record Stranger Things by Lloyd Banks. That's right. I got all the lyrics. I got the lyrics up right now for everybody that hasn't heard the record. If you haven't heard it, man, you know, this is actually one of the most buzzed about tracks from the Course of the Inevitable album by Lloyd Banks that is doing really well right now. The album's actually doing really well on the iTunes charts, the independent charts. You know what I mean? This is Banks's first album actually in 10 years. So this is actually his fourth album. This is his fourth album. I mean, he's had multiple tapes, but his fourth album, as they call it. But it is his first in 10 years, you guys. And I know we've all been waiting for the Banks album. I'd like to get you all grades in here. How did everyone feel about Course of the Inevitable? I want to know, what did everyone think? A through F. What do we got in here? Banks is a monster. Yep. Banks came back and proved that he is most definitely a monster. He proved that he can do it. You know, the way that he raps. What it do? Dallas is in the building. Major salute to Dallas tapping in tonight. LA is in here. Salute to you, KB. Major salute. Yep, GB. We're actually going to get into that tonight. Lyric for lyric. We're going to go over it tonight. Lyric for lyric. Lloyd Banks. And also, we're going to be talking about Pooh Shiesty tonight, though, you guys. Oh, come on, Prolific. Just go into open up another window, go listen to Stranger Things right now so you can get in tune with everything that we're going to be talking about tonight. Big Facts. What up, Big Factsville? Block Prep Raw. Block Prep Raw in the building. GB says B+. B+ on the album. J. Rel says 10 out of 10. Stephen Teague says fire. Nick Antonelli says Banks is a beast. AJ Gaiman says, Mikey T, you're going to have that boxing match. I guess they weren't offering the bag. I guess they don't have the bag for the boxing match, so we ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? If they had the bag, you know what I'm saying, then I'd be all about it. But if they don't got the bag, then I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? KB says, best one from the unit. So I guess KB is saying when it comes to Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, Tony Yayo, and 50 Cent, probably the game as well, he takes Lloyd Banks to be the best in G Unit. Berg Bucks was popping. Berg from Queens. All right, Armando says took 10 years off and still kicking it, still killing it, excuse me. There's always a lane for that lyrical fire. Yeah, honestly, that whole thing of people actually having bars in music is coming back right now. The whole thing where artists actually have bars is very, very seriously affecting hip hop right now. I mean, with the guys like Conway, Benny the Butcher, you know what I'm saying? Even Jadakiss bringing up Millie's, who's done a project with Dave East. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different projects out there going where music and lyrics are the focal point. Drew 730 was popping. GB says Banks' new album was refreshing. Everyone share this video. We're speaking on Banks' new album as well as the diss track, and then we're going to be speaking on Pooh Shiesty as well. But we're always open to questions in the chat. GB says Banks' new album is refreshing. I've been rocking Banks for like a week straight. All of his albums. Now, when you say all of his albums, GB, are you talking about the obvious albums, The Hunger for More? You know what I mean? Rotten Apple, HFM2, and now, you know what I mean? Now the course. Or are you talking about even the mixtape albums? Are you talking about the stuff that he did on his own? Like, you know what I mean? The PLK. Are you talking about different things like that? Are you talking about Halloween Havoc? Because there's quite a bit of Lloyd Banks material out there to listen to. Nick, appreciate you for tapping in tonight. He said Banks is the best, hands down. Well, honestly, I'm gonna have to say my favorite would probably be my favorite. Well, everybody knows it's documented facts that my favorite artist in G Unit is actually Tony Yayo. I want to sign him in everything. I want to bring him over to Movie Star Music Group. You know what I mean? We're gonna do the big Tony Yayo album. Give me 1 second, you guys. Had to turn that AC on, you guys. Let me know if that's affecting anything. Let me know if you guys can't hear me or anything like that. Everybody share this video. Let me know if the AC is affecting everything, and I'll just turn it off. You know what I mean? Because this is really about you guys. Yeah, exactly. Timestamps. Timestamp this up, man. Timestamp it up and put it in the chat. Mikey T wants to sign Tony Yayo. And Thoughts of a Predicate Felon was underestimated. Thoughts of a Predicate Felon deserves a follow-up. And maybe it won't be 50's tax write-off. Maybe 50 got sick of putting Tony Yayo in his taxes. I got you, Yayo. It's going to be Mikey T's tax write-off. I'm going to sign Yayo. Simple as that. I'm going to sign Yayo. I'm going to bring him on the Movie Star Music Group. You know what I'm saying? MSMG. And we're going to do it real big. Thoughts of a Predicate Felon 2. Mikey T's tax write-off. If you can bring Banks over, that's a must as well. Bringing Banks over to the label, I mean, let me tell you this. When we get in position to do what we are ultimately going to do here in hip-hop, we are going to be working with just about anybody you could think of when it comes to single deals, when it comes to interviews, when it comes to album promotion, when it even comes to album distribution. Hartford, Connecticut is in the building. You know that's what I do it for, man. I was just in New York last night. Major salute to Jonesy. Major salute to Jonesy. I was just in New York last night, actually. They were showing me mad love. They had me out to the Quad Studio and shit like that. Okay, I like it. I like it. KB says, Tony was cool, but nah, bro. Buck was better than Yayo. Game was worse than Kid. That's interesting. And I want to get my co-host in here from Philly. Philly's in the building, man. Rose.
Salute, my J.
Bro, I want to get your opinion on this. KB says, Tony Yayo was cool, but nah, bro. Buck was better than Yayo. That's a very, that's a sentiment that a lot of people share. Buck being better than Yayo.
Yeah. When G Unit was at its height, we said that. That wasn't never a discussion. We never discounted Buck. I mean, Yayo saying he was weak or corny. It's just lyric wise, just lyric wise.
Now, this is one that I wanted to get your take on because we don't really hear this comparison all too much. Sometimes it gets thrown out there, but this is the first time we're going to speak on it. And just because you have a bit of a relationship with Kid Rosewood, I still want to get the straight up answer from you. KB says Game was worse than Kid. What's your take?
Game was worse than Kid. That's two different genuine eras for one, and two different types of rappers. I really can't say. Is he saying with the lyrics? That's what he's saying. Like,
yeah, it's like, how can you say the Game is worse than Kid? The Game has had multiple successful albums. The Game has even got distribution with E1 to the point where he was putting out his own talent. But that's not to discredit Kid because I think Kid has a very innovative flow. Like I personally told Kid when he got the chance to meet Jay-Z, you know what I mean? Jay had heard the Gillies. Jay had heard Beanie. Jay had heard everybody in New York you could think of. It must have been new for him to hear Kid.
Yeah. And Kid brought that southern drawl with kind of up north type of, sound or swagger. Delivering his bars. Being from down south but delivering his bars. So that's why I said Game. That's two different eras with G Unit and Game. I think the first two albums went platinum, so he was doing something right.
Now, if we had to say before we move on, Rosewood, I got to put you in the hot seat. I mean, if you were to say preference, have you just heard too much more of the Game's material to really have a preference of the two?
Good question. That might be. That's why I said two different eras because Game put out a lot of material. I'm talking about I'm just speaking on the beginning period, from albums to mixtapes and that whole 150 going back and forth thing that produced a lot of music. So definitely it's a lot more music with Game.
Right. I mean, Kid obviously has a couple looks that people would kill for in hip hop with getting on Miss Officer with Lil Wayne, even being a part of Squad Up back in the day. Fact. But the Game has two bona fide classic records with 50 Cent that would probably, handle the, How We Do, Hate It or Love It. You know what I mean? That's more Kid didn't get the opportunity to actually be in the Miss Officer video.
Right. So that's why I said that's why it's really a hard comparison for his question because like you said, Kid certain opportunities he didn't get, and then Game was able to capitalize off certain opportunities he had, and those songs that he have are hip hop classics. They're going to be played forever.
Well, Nick says Game's first album was fire, which there's no debating that. The documentary is fire. But also, The Doctor's Advocate was fire as well, Nick. I want you to go listen to All in One Night, the song where the Game is like, I only with you on two occasions when I'm drunk and I'm high. Yeah, I was just banging that the other day, yo. That is definitely classic. We appreciate everybody tapping in. Rosewood and myself, we've been a little busy over the last couple days. Rosewood and they had the Spill Entertainment Showcase. I was actually up in Quad. I was in New York all weekend, but we're back and we're going to be talking about Lloyd Banks' new album. Before we get into the shots that he took at 50, the inevitable shots that he took at 50, I guess I should say. Right, guys? Isn't that what I should say? The inevitable shots.
It was inevitable. I mean, yeah, it's inevitable. And I don't think he was doing it from a hurt place or, trying clout as people do these days. He really bringing you substance on how he's feeling. And that's what makes a good rap artist. When you can bring that substance on how you feel and put it on a track and make it a great song.
Yep. That's facts, man. That's really true. We're going to go over the lyrics from Stranger Things. We're going to go over the lyrics from Stranger Things. But Rosewood, I just want we got a couple grades in here. Someone said it was a B plus album. You said you were listening to it today. What before we get into the record in particular, what was your overall thoughts on Lloyd Banks's album?
Great project. Overall thoughts, great project. And if we was going by like the Source 5 mics, I'm giving it 4.5. Now, only reason why I wouldn't give it the 5 is because 10 all the way up to Stranger Things, it kind of like mellowed down. So I understand it's like songs for the chicks or whatever like that. And the song with Rocky Marciano, I like Rocky Marciano, but I think Styles P. I think Styles P should have been on that beat. So it's just me critiquing it, my opinion or whatever. But I give it a 4.5. It's definitely a great album.
So let me ask you, man, what Banks has a lot of material, you know, all the mixtapes, the PLK, the Cold Corner, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What made this say that it's an album? Is it just because of the fact that he's selling it on iTunes? What made this in the lane of Hunger for More and Rotten Apple and HFM2? What put it in that lane?
I'm going to say the presentation and the way it was formatted. You know, the presentation and the way it's formatted is definitely an album structure. Definitely an album structure. You know, if it was a mixtape, that means that was an album that wasn't coming out. But that's definitely structured as an album. And like I said, it's presented in that way.
And where do you rate the album alongside his other three? Because Hunger for More had Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. And we heard him, we're going to get into it in a second, but we heard him reference, you know what I mean? It's cool to get around when you start to get a buzz. He said something along those lines, sort of like how when he got his buzz back during Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, 50 jumped back on.
And that's a fact. You're not lying.
So he had Beamer, Benz, or Bentley with the Hunger for More, and that was actually released in 2010. He had... You know, he had Carrie Hilson. He had who else did he have? He had 50 on Hands Up, Rotten Apple. He had what did he have? Was he on was Mobb Deep on a song called Get Clapped, or was that a different album?
I would have to look that one up. That might.
I think that was the same time because Banks was
the same time.
Yep, because Mobb Deep's album dropped with G Unit in May of 2006. Lloyd Banks' album dropped in October.
Okay.
Rosewood, is my AC giving us any? Are you hearing it?
Nah.
All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure we were good. Now, before everybody logged in here, we were actually asking the chat, and now that we got 130 people in here, I'm going to ask you guys again: Game or Kid? Who do y'all got when it came to G Unit? M1 said this, Rosewood. He said, Kid lyrically, but Game has bangers.
That's a good observation. I could say I would say that. I would say that lyrically. Kid, but Game has the bangers. And that's going back into what I was saying with the opportunity Kid did have and the opportunities Games did have.
Right. Going right back into this what King Ivory says. King Ivory says Game is more versatile. We had the opportunity to see Game rap alongside Kanye West on Wouldn't Get Far. We had the opportunity to see him rap with Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? And Faith, and hear him Faith sing on his records. You know,
rap with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, we got Lil Wayne on Life or whatever it was called. We got all these different opportunities to and actually see the video of them together. You know?
Right.
But so Fendi says Kid is more of a Banks comparison than the Game.
Kid really got his own lane, man. He got his own lane. Like I say, he come with the Southern drawl and he come with the bars.
Okay, look at this. Game, J-Rel says Game. Murda Martinez says Game has more punchlines and better songs. And Kenzo said, I don't know about that. Game had them effing bars. and Mel says that Game was a better fit overall in the group.
See, that goes back to what I was saying. Different time frames of G Unit.
Right.
Different time frames of G Unit. Primo, my J, what up, my guy? Yeah, different time frames of G Unit. So that's when it gets kind of because it's like, all right, if Kid Kid was around then, we don't know what he would have produced or what bangers he would have made, you know, or how he would like if he fit in with him then, like when he came on, I think he would have fit perfect then too. You know, he would have been added with Buck and like G Unit South, so we would have had Buck and Kid Kid songs.
Rob the General says, who did more? Not even a comparison. Game. Yeah, the Game did more, but the Game really stunted his own growth as an artist. The Game, in my opinion, stunted his own growth, whereas Kid Kid growth was sort of like seemingly stunted by 50 and Lil Wayne not putting him in the position that he needed to be in. Now, Game went at G Unit. Game threw a dagger. Game threw a wrench, a monkey wrench into his own machine. You know?
Facts. Yeah. If you, I know, you look at it like that, that is true. You know, that is true. You know, and I think at the time, I think Game figured he had star potential, and I think he was saying, well, look, man, I don't care. This is going to launch me to the atmosphere. You know, but really it was a monkey wrench.
And who even knows if and who's to say that if Kid Kid didn't come in, you know what I mean? If Kid Kid didn't come in at that point and become the fifth member of G Unit back in 2005, right after Miss Officer popped off, who's to say that Kid Kid wouldn't have blew up like the Game?
Right. That's the thing. With him not being in the video, that's a stunt right there. And,
Oh my bad, that was 2008 actually.
With Mrs. Officer?
Yeah, that was 2000.
Yeah. That right there with him being in the video. You know, for him, when the video came out and then he was in it, it was just weird. So it already kind of looked like they're not going to put this artist out like that. What's going on? So that, like I said, that's a stunt in itself right there.
Well, Vinny, it actually was really close because Lloyd Banks' first album sold 440,000 and the Game's first album sold like 550. So it was really close. Wouldn't you say, Rosewood?
No, it was because even at that time, I now regardless of the numbers, I can think back at the time when those albums were dropping and the mixtapes were, and they were all close. It was nobody like really outshining the other members of the group. Even Yayo had his limelight. Even Yayo had his limelight. When his album dropped, they pushed that. They were pushing it before that with the free Yayo shirts. So the promotion was already there for what is it, Predicate Felon, you know. So it was the promotion was already there for it.
Yeah, Rob, I would say I think Buck actually moved 261,000 units first week, which was less than Banks. And then Yayo moved 215,000 the next year. Yayo actually moved 215,000 the next year, man. So he only moved 50,000 under Young Buck. Yayo just expected to move. You know how many records Yayo thought he was moving first week, Rosewood?
I think like 60,000 or something like that.
No. Yayo wanted to sell 700,000 units first week.
Oh yeah, but see at the time, you know, with 50's momentum and all that, with him saying that, you know, it was far fetched, but it wasn't, because it's like we didn't know what was on there. We didn't know what songs were on there. So with him saying that, great promotion. Once again, great promotion by Yayo.
Now, this is the thing right here. Game makes better music than Lloyd Banks. Is that true? Because the record I was just talking about, I mean, very good record. You know, I only F with you on 2 occasions.
Better songs.
Banks makes some good songs too. I Don't Deserve You, Help. You know what I mean? Different songs like that I really enjoy. You know what I mean? Some of his other street songs I'm not really so much into. I like the Game's street songs more, to be honest.
Better songs, I'm gonna say it's because Game is usually always working on albums. So Game's gonna come with, the top production every time. Game is more, I think, working on albums. Banks has, more mixtapes, more underground stuff like that.
But if we're really talking about who has the best street music out of the three of them or the four of them, it's Young Buck. Young Buck had the best street records like Haters, Bonafide Hustler, Black Gloves, like all those records. To me, I thought Buck was on it. That's why a lot of people say Buck was the best in G Unit.
I was always, as far as the lyrics in the streets, I was giving it first. It was 50. Then I was giving it to Banks. Buck was third basically. But I see where you're coming from now.
Steve, that record is Karma. Yep, that's Banks's biggest record.
Yeah, Karma.
But Banks's biggest record is Karma, right, Rosewood?
Yeah, I would say Karma.
Followed by On Fire.
Or Beamer, Benz, or Bentley.
Yeah, Beamer, Benz, or Bentley is probably after On Fire, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, yeah, that's another one. Murder, Prices on My Head.
Yeah.
Tell me dead. Watch yourself. The price is on my head. Got my strap.
Leo, you right. Banks isn't really promoted,
But no, I know what you mean when you say the rollout for the course, the course of the Inevitable album, because of the fact that they first came out with the trailer. Then they came out with the picture of the album artwork. Then they came out with his hands. He knows how to roll out an album even if he's doing it independently. A lot of people can really learn from this.
Yes, facts. There you go, Mikey T. You just said it right there. The way he prepared and the way he pushed it out, a lot of people really can learn on this, how to push out an album independently. Roll it out, rather. How to roll out an album independently.
Now 10 years. I got to ask you before we get into all this, man, just so we can cover all this ground. 10 years. He waited 10 years to release this album, Rosewood. Why 10 years? Is this not an album that could have been released a year later? What was he on there talking about that made you realize there was 10 years of growth?
I would say the whole album. The whole album shows me 10 years of growth. Because when I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is a mature Banks. Listen definitely from the previous albums, but even from the mixtapes and everything that be dropping, I think it was right on time.
Word. Yeah, man. Congratulations to Banks for having this album out and it actually doing some numbers on the charts. You know what I mean? And whether he starts to release two albums a year, or an album every year, or an album every few years, everybody's going to be looking forward to the Lloyd Banks's releases in the future. So he had a record that was called Stranger Things. Now, let me ask you, Rosewood, just off top, why is the record called Stranger Things? Is it because of that popular Netflix show? Is he making a spin off of that?
At first, that's what I was thinking, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why he named it that. I'm not really sure.
My consideration would have to be that we've seen stranger things than somebody going to battle with somebody who actually put them on in the first place.
Good point. Because I was about to say, Stranger Things. We've seen Stranger Things in the industry happen, stuff like that.
Right. And even though it was like Bangum Smurf, my on again, off again homie Bangum Smurf, it always tells me about how how Banks actually got put on through the mixtapes in the early days. He got put on through the mixtapes in the early days and shit. It's no doubt about it that 50 is the one who put Banks on. Am I right? It's no doubt about it.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact right there. That's a fact. Like you said, the mixtapes was like the training ground for the album to come out.
You know, just like 50 Cent, who came out under M and Dre, you know, and sold 800,000 twice in a row. If 50, at one point, 50 was on Columbia and he didn't even get to release. 50 thought to, I know 50 had to think to himself, I'm going to come out and if I'm lucky, I'll sell 120. Lloyd Banks could have been in the very same position, except he was attached to a man with a major buzz and he sold nearly 500,000 records first week, Rosewood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Facts. He was attached to a man with a major buzz. Like that buzz was unbelievable. So even that people don't even think about the pressure the other artists had on G Unit. Because 50 buzz was so crazy and 50 was just the thing at the time. So the pressure on them to bring great music and to follow up was crazy.
It's just
and
like,
they did it.
not to cut you off, Rosewood, but it's just like that whole thing 50 was going through on his Instagram or Twitter when he told people to invest in a stock or something like that.
I've seen something like that.
Something like that. It's just like back in the day when 50 would tell us, buy Lloyd Banks' album. We'd be like, okay, all right, let's buy Lloyd Banks' album.
But the thing was, we were kind of already going to get it because the mixtape and the songs that got released on the mixtape that were on the album. So we were waiting for the album anyway.
Yep. Because 50 knew how to promote his artist. 50 knew how to roll out his artist. We were like, okay, so we're going to get Banks, then we're going to get Buck, and then hopefully Yayo's going to get out of jail and we're going to get Yayo. But then they popped in the game, you know what I mean? So now we're going to get into this Stranger Things record, man. The chorus. Let's just read the chorus first. You lift me up and shoot me down. It looks painful for you to smile. I feel space between your hug. I hate the way you show me love. You ain't the same as when you came. We'll probably never be the same. All right, so I hate the way you show me love. That lyric right there. I hate the way you show me love. It takes me back to 50 Cent's conversation with Young Buck on the phone when he told Buck, I don't know if you remember this, but you'll remember it after I say it, everybody in the chat as well. 50 told Buck, he's like, I know what the problem is, Buck. I know what the problem is. You need to be closer to me, Buck. You need to be closer to me. Like 50 just thought that was the answer. You know what I mean? For Buck to be closer to him and everything is magically going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes the way people like Banks is saying some serious shit right here. Unless he's talking about his girlfriend.
No. I know exactly what he was saying. And I took that to also going back, when Banks' father passed away and he was on tour. He was saying he was going back, and 50, was like, nah, need to stay. And, 50's emotion wasn't his emotion, and then for 50, to still be the way 50 is, he like, I don't like the way you love me. Like, 50 got love for him, but it's just the way 50 is, man.
So here's a lyric in the first verse that caught me, man. He said, sometimes the pressure overwhelms you when you're the head of the clique. But don't get ahead of yourself. I ain't bending for shit. Just like going back into what you were saying, Rosewood, when 50 was like, listen, I understand your what happened in your life, but you need to keep working. It's like trying to tell somebody what they have to do. It's like, no, this is what I need to do to get my head right. But I think more important than that is, you know what I mean? Is like, what is he saying here when he says, sometimes the pressure overwhelms you when you're the head of the clique? What is that saying to you, man?
Basically, like 50 had too much going on to really be in tune with their lives personally, like that. Like some things 50 really didn't have time to really put that emotion into it.
Wow.
He didn't have time.
The guy who ran around starting G Unit at the beginning, you know what I mean? Before M and Dre came into the picture, the guy who started G Unit and wanted to be the head honcho of this organization. You know what I'm saying? Like on some Meek Mill shit, Dream Chasers, on some ARAB shit, some OBH. You know what I mean? He wanted to be the head honcho in the group. And Banks is saying sometimes the pressure overwhelms you when you're the head of the clique. Look, how long did these guys in G Unit really know each other? How long were they really together? How long did their reign at the top really last? These are questions you really got to look to yourself and ask. You can answer all these questions, you know what I mean? Because we all watched it. We all watched G Unit unfold right in front of our eyes.
Yeah. And the question is, if it wasn't, the controversy or whatever happened for the breakup, how longer would they have went further?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that the second G Unit album wouldn't have been called Terminate on Sight. Actually, yeah, I'm definitely sure of that because I think they named it Terminate on Sight to like have a stigma of beef surrounding it. I imagine The Game would have been on the second G Unit album.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, exactly. Right here, Leo says 50 let the bullshit get to him, or he let the pressure overwhelm him from having to be in so many different places at one time. Like Rosewood was saying, it's like he couldn't be there for the guys in G Unit like he was at one point. Like a lot of the times, instead of bringing G Unit to shows like he would naturally do, he started bringing them to movie sets with Sylvester Stallone. Rosewood, I know you're from Philly. I know you're a big Sylvester Stallone guy, but what in the blue hell is somebody learning from going to a movie set with Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone when you're trying to be Lloyd Banks and Tony Ayo? Maybe I'm wrong.
Now, with that, I was thinking that they were going to start being in movies. That's what I thought. I thought they were basically being around so, they can have their G Unit movie or starring, being movies, being shows or whatever, how 50 is now. Be rappers and be able to convert over to movies or TV. Well, so I thought maybe that.
He did put him in a movie, Rosewood. He did put Lloyd Banks in a movie. Wasn't he a teacher in Before I Self-Destruct? That was in like one scene.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then he let Tony Ayo take the role as the bad guy in SWAT 2.
Yeah.
What the hell? You were right. He didn't have enough time to go talk to the guys, apparently.
He too much, and like you said right there, there's really no point in me being on the set with Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis. Like, I'm really like that one is like, Fifth called me. I'm like, yo, Fifth, like, yeah, no, I'm trying to get there, but I was actually trying to get in the studio and work or whatever like that. Or I'm like,
man, you gotta come be around Sylvester Stallone, man. It's gonna make you think of the dopest bar tonight when you go back to the studio.
Cool. You know what I'm gonna do?
Back to, I hate the way you show me love.
I'm gonna bring that laptop. I'm gonna bring Pro Tools with me. I'm gonna set up a little Pro Tools session. So while they doing their thing, I'm over here doing my thing and coming up with them bars on the spot. I'm not waiting till later on. Got them bars right here for you. I'm always working on rap.
No, I'm just saying, man. I know there's a big opportunity to build on these movie sets, like you're saying, an opportunity to be in movies yourself, an opportunity to become a producer, anything like that. Just anything.
Sure.
I mean, look at what Gilly the Kid has done with Vin Rames just from having a relationship with him. It put him in a number of films. So, yeah, I see what you're saying there. But it's just, it comes to a point where it's like, how is this benefiting me? You know what I mean? To be with 50 on the set when he's making that one movie where he had to go down to being 107 pounds and he's laying in a hospital bed, and then I'm there watching it. Yeah, I guess I'm taking notes as an actor or something. People are going to be like, Mikey T, you got no sense for becoming an actor. Okay, I guess that's what Uncle Murda signed to G Unit for, to become an actor.
No, definitely not. GB, that's a good thing. I mean, good comment. So you gotta remember, Banks is younger than 50 and Yayo. It didn't come up together. Banks lived on Yayo block. Yeah, 50 heard
Right.
him in the 134. Yep.
Yep, that's what I
All
was
state
talking about
mixtape.
earlier.
R.I.P. Fat Shaw. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. GB. That's facts right there.
Yep, that's what I was talking about a little earlier about how Banks was he got kind of like the attention of 50 right there. So what do you think this line meant though, Rosewood, when he said nobody sees your vision until you're successful? Because that didn't really make me think of 50 because 50 actually that's where it did make me think of 50, but not at the beginning because
Right.
50 helped Banks when he was nobody, when he was just coming up off of those Fat Shaw mixtapes,
Mm-hmm.
rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But it just reminded me, like I mentioned earlier, he said, nobody sees your vision until you're successful. That he was talking about when he came back with Joel Santana, when
Facts.
everybody thought it was over for him and he wasn't going to have a single to work the Hunger for More 2. And then I believe 50 got him an independent deal at EMI.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Now that's the thing, because he, like you said, nobody was expecting that, and nobody was expecting the impact of that song, and it immediately hit. So that's Bank saying, "Look, this is me creating on my own. This is me formatting my own shit and rolling it out like that." And before he probably was like, "Look, he probably been had the vision to do the song or whatever, several songs. They probably like, nah, we don't want that or whatever. Nah, we're gonna go with this. So we're gonna go with this. How we gonna go with these songs, whatever." So like you said, then they weren't really pushing him or none of that, or even trying to take his vision and see how to
Yeah,
craft it.
because they were like, what everyone's saying. Banks was like lazy. They were saying Banks was, like not wanting to be around at certain points. So like let these people go and work at their own pace. Look
That
how I want to
that too.
relate it to a Brock Lesnar type of situation. Brock
Okay.
Lesnar doesn't need to be on Monday Night Raw every single week of the year. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, right, 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 right.
But they wanted to work Lloyd Banks to the bone. At one point, Lloyd Banks did 300 shows in a year, and even though
Yeah,
that's lucrative,
yeah, they were trying. Listen, all of them. That's why I said earlier, nobody mentions the pressure the artist had on G Unit just because of 50's work ethic and his buzz. And he's basically like, listen, we need to do everything we can do now while we got this jumping, while we got it popping. So it's like we're gonna work, 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 and more work.
it's
That's it.
here now. Our opportunity is now. You sold 400,000 units in 2004. Now I'm going to be honest with you. You probably will never sell this many units again. Our buzz is that strong. You're getting such an even the Beg for Mercy album didn't sell 400,000 units. Share this video, everybody. Share this video, everybody, right now. Share this video. Let's get 200 people in here. We're doing a review of the Stranger Things record. And I think on this joint, Lloyd Banks is pretty much saying that there have been stranger things that have happened other than, a Lloyd Banks and 50 Cent problem. There's other
Yeah,
things in the industry. I mean, for crying out loud, look at all the speculation with Tupac and Suge Knight.
Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things,
You see where
Stranger
I'm going
Things,
with that? You see where I'm going with that now, Rosewood?
Stranger Things.
There's stranger things. Look what happened to old dirty bastard when he came out of jail. He wasn't the same man. Stranger things have happened
Stranger
than
Things. Facts.
50 and Banks. And like somebody said in the chat, Leo says Banks was just trying to live his life. But
Facts.
So that's what he means. Banks was just trying to live his life, because he did his first album 2004, his second album 2006, his third album 2010. That's a 4-year time difference, Rosewood. So maybe he was just trying to quote unquote live his life.
Yeah, you need some R&R. You need some R&R. And sometimes just keep working and working. It kind of stunts your artistic creativity sometimes because you're that's on the same routine. You're that's on the same program. You're not straying away from the program. So it doesn't give you really time to do that. So that's the thing.
Rosewood, let me ask you this, because YouTube Streets TV commented, Banks made millions. He probably felt satisfied coming from nothing. Because of the fact that he made millions, off of that album, major shocker, selling 400,000 units first week, all the shows he got the opportunity to do, 250 to 300 shows a year. He makes all that money. Somebody makes all that money. A lot of people say, in some of their raps, people even say, if I make 20 million, I'm going to disappear, right? People say that.
Yeah, true.
20 million, I'm going to disappear in thin air. So why is Banks facing some criticism after making all that money and dipping out?
Because people thought G Unit was going to last forever, and you can just always put 50 on your track or a couple tracks, and then it's going to push. But no, 50
Transition.
start to decline too.
So 50, like we were just talking about, even throughout all the music, 50 was transitioning into music. So I don't understand why you think you're going to be able to depend on a 50 Cent hook in 5 years when he's transitioning to directing and producing Sylvester Stallone and Chris Klein from American Pie if they work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Biggest success through all that failure of movies, 50's biggest success, sorry about that. Rosewood's got the police over there and shit in Philly. But 50's biggest success through all the failure of the films that he did was actually the television. It really turned out his niche market was television, Rosewood. And you've probably seen a little bit more of what 50 has done on television than me.
Well, I don't watch the shows, but I see them. The thing where I see 50, of course, with Power, but when he was able to link a deal with ABC and get that show out, so I seen him make a major transition,
which was recently canceled. They recently took his show off, but 50 said the show was going to land up on another channel. And I think it's interesting that channel, ABC, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that they dropped one of his other shows only to pick up another. So I think there's a potential that they're sending him to another channel and they're doing another one of his projects. We see how that works with different. Sometimes labels will. Game went from Aftermath to Geffen. MMG went from Warner to Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I can see maybe with the television show For Life, because I'm pretty sure it was still doing strong ratings.
Yeah, and ABC is under Disney. So whatever Disney owns, they're going to plug 50 Cent in.
Yo, unless that's the real kid, get out of here with my man's name. Unless that's the real kid, get out of here with my man's name. But let's get on to let me see.
Y'all be wilding in the comments, man. Shout out to Kid too. That's the G right there, man. That's my guy right there. Shout out Kid, man.
So he said, I brought the integrity through every area the jet flew. It's like I see a stranger, nothing like when I met you. At this point, I don't care to keep a friend again. When you get on, they checking in. That ain't genuine. When you get on, they checking in. That ain't genuine. So, like we were just talking about a little bit earlier, Banks pops back up on the scene, right? With a song. Banks doesn't pop up back on the scene because of a publicity stunt. Banks doesn't pop up back on the scene because of a beef. Banks
Right.
doesn't pop up on the scene because he's dating somebody in the industry. He popped
Yeah.
up back on the scene because he had an anthem that he made with Joel Santana. And to be honest with you, Rosewood, after all the friction that 50 caused with Dipset, I'm shocked that record happened.
Yeah, you say that, Mikey T. Right. Dag. Yeah. So that's why Banks probably already had that idea. And he just couldn't do it because of 50 beefing with, Dipset. So with him bringing that out, and it came out in the summertime, like you said, he didn't come out with any antics, no buffoonery to get back on the spotlight. He came with music, what you supposed to do.
Yep. Appreciate everybody tapping in tonight. 216
Salute.
people in here right now. I got my guy Rosewood in here. We're talking about Lloyd Banks, Stranger Things, off the new Course of the Inevitable album. And he seems to be taking direct shots. He seems to be airing out his whole relationship with 50 Cent, especially if he's on here talking about, I put integrity. What did he say? I brought integrity through every jet, through every area. Excuse me. I brought integrity through every area the jet flew. Who was he, Rosewood? Who was Lloyd Banks flying in all them jets with?
You already know it. 50
You already
Cent
know.
G Unit. The whole G Unit. Everybody's on that jet. Everybody on that jet. Like you said, you got to go everywhere with 50.
Yep. So honestly, Banks feels like he brought integrity to G Unit because and let's keep it real here. When he's talking about integrity, he's not talking about it in the same vein that Bangum Smurf is talking about integrity to the group. Because when you go on the jet, it's not about packing a jet full of firearms. You know what I mean? You're going on the jet, you're going to a city, and you're going to perform your music somewhere. So Rosewood, Banks is talking about the integrity he brought to 50, to Yayo, to Buck, you know what I mean? To Game, all these street rappers, Game, Gangbanger, Buck, breaking your door, waving the fourth, you know what I mean, type shit. Buck had that, he said that in one of his Rap City freestyles.
Mm-hmm.
Buck was one of the most gangster rappers from G Unit. 50, crack dealer. Yayo, crack dealer. Banks, the boy wonder.
Yeah. And when I like how you, I see where you're going. I like how you put that because Banks brought the integrity of being a rapper, bringing the bars, bringing rap. So, and being the glue to these other artists in the group, making it with rap, not making it have to be all about, shooting, getting shot, selling drugs, and, being this simple. Really bringing concepts and hooks and stuff like that, substance to your raps.
Yep. So basically, Banks, in my opinion, it was sort of like how Irv Gotti got boxed in. Irv Gotti got put in a box because of the fact that he only had a few artists. Right, Rosewood? People were like, yo, Irv Gotti's a two-trick pony. You know what I mean? Irv Gotti doesn't have anything more than Ja Rule and Ashanti. That's why he started introducing Lloyd. Am I right or wrong?
No, I would say that because he only had Ja Rule and Ashanti.
Right. And if 50 didn't have other artists, it would have all just been gangsta shit. But Lloyd Banks brought a little bit something more to the table. So that's why I agree with him saying that he had brought integrity onto every area that they flew into, man. Whether it was countries in Africa where they performed, whether it was Asia, whether it was Canada, Mexico. You know what I mean? Some people all around the world, they wear Wu-Tang shirts because of the Wu-Tang stories that they relate to. You know what I mean? That they love. You know what I mean? Like Lloyd Banks brings that to G Unit, man. Like a lot of the people relate to his shit when they want that rapper who brings the lyricism to the group. Maybe I went off on a little tangent there, but that's just sort of how I kind of feel about the situation. Kendall Park says Cadillac Ta shit. Oh shit! Some shit just. What the fuck is this? Shit done flew in my crib.
Hold on, Cadillac Ta should have had an album. Why should Cadillac Ta had an album, my J?
Well, Cadillac.
I want to see what he has to say for that one.
Well, Cadillac Ta actually had a single on the Fast and Furious soundtrack.
Yeah, but I don't think he deserved the album. He didn't put in the work like Banks on the mixtape scene to deserve an album.
All right, so let me get your opinion on this before we get back into Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Cadillac Ta right now. Kendall Parks asked, Cadillac Ta should have had an album. So Cadillac Ta said in an interview, I believe with my guy M. Rec, that Murder Inc. basically got an offer from Def Jam. They were like, listen, we're going to cut you guys a check not to release Cadillac Ta's album. We're going to cut you a check and you can go work on a new album. Because he had it in a contract that his album was supposed to be released. I'm asking you, Rosewood, would you have taken the check and gone back and worked on another album? Or would you have said, no, put my album in the stores?
No, I'm going back. I'm going to work on another album. Work on some more material.
And then it never came out, Rosewood.
That's what I'm saying. I'll still work on more material because it was something why they didn't want to put the album out. Now, even if you say still put the album out, do you think they're going to still put the same promotion behind it? They're going to have the same energy as you? Yes. They're going to put it out, yeah, but they're not going to do it how you want to do it because that's not what they want. That's not the material they wanted at the time.
Yep. Pop City Anthem. That was the song that Cadillac Ta had, Pop City Anthem.
But that didn't deserve an album.
Rob the General says, I remember 50 was tripping about them not wearing G-Unit clothing. I mean, the gear was ugly. What do you think about that, Rosewood? Do you remember anything about the G-Unit gear?
Oh, yeah. Hated the white beaters. I hated the tank tops. Hated the tank tops, man. Hated them.
Really?
Yeah, hated them shows, man. Hated them when 50 started coming with like the colors going down the sides. They got real freaky with them Jones, man. It was freaky. I ain't gonna lie. Philly was not feeling them Johns. No, not the tank tops. Not the tank tops.
How about the shoes?
It wasn't on the Air Force Ones. So, and if you had to pick between those and the Sean Carters, everybody wore Sean Carters. Everybody fully wore Sean Carters.
Was anybody from G Unit really wearing the G Unit tank tops beside 50?
I don't think so. You have to look that up. He might have been the only one. Now the t-shirts, they had great t-shirts. They had great hats. You know, some of the jeans are okay, whatever. But if I had to rock because like they said, Trav stayed with the freshest G Unit stuff. So it's like, it's all how you make it. The thing is, when the box come, you styling yourself. So now this is your own creativity, coming in. So I don't care what it is. If I gotta promote G Unit and the sneakers or whatever, now the white, the tank top, I definitely wouldn't be wearing. But everything else, if that's what I had to wear, I'm picking out what fits me.
Wow. So let's get back into these lyrics, Rosewood. He said, when you get on, they checking in. That ain't genuine. Changed my whole perception now that I'm remembering. Got a big safe of favors that I'll never lend. Nothing's forever. What did he mean by that? I was trying to figure that out. What did he mean? Got a big safe of favors that I'll never lend. Is this in regard to the speculation that Lloyd Banks helped write in the club? Is that what he's saying? Like I got a big safe of favors. I got a safe full of music that I'll never let you bite off of again? Is that possible?
Sure. That's a great bar. And that's some great bars about Banks. And it shows you the way we really have to dissect it. Because you could be right. At the same time, it could be something totally else. We're just speculating. This is our observation and the people in the comments observation of the lyrics. So that's it. That's one I would have to, think on, because like he said, now thinking back, he's thinking of more things, and he ended it saying nothing lasts forever. Meaning I can't be behind 50 Cent forever. I have to do my own thing, and I can't go in with the same structure that 50 Cent wants. I had to go on the structure Lloyd Banks wants. And I had the fan base and the star power to do that. Just love me the way you love me, bro. That's push me even if I'm not rocking with your set or your plan. Still back me the same way if I was. That's what I got. That's what I really got from that, man.
All right. So Mike said that was a reach. Now I'm just saying because I read
It's an observation. Because
I read a lot of headlines, Rosewood. Rosewood, you've read that headline before that Lloyd Banks wrote get rich or in the club, right? You read that headline before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
when the song first came out, there was a rumor in the streets.
What's everybody saying? He's got a big safe of favors that'll never lend. I mean, that is a favor. Helping somebody. And Banks told me switch the style up, and if they hate, then let them hate, but watch the money pile up. That is a favor.
There you go, Mikey T. Thank you for bringing that out the cut for them, because they forgot about that bar.
Damn, yeah.
Because I was just about to ask them in the comments, people in the comments, what did y'all think that mean? But great bar for that comment right there. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's crazy, D Money. I didn't know that Banks. I'd like to hear some of those records. Let me know the Banks titles and the 50 titles so I could hear that. He said that Banks had Banks had beats that were on 50's Animal Ambition album. I didn't notice none of that ever.
Now listen, I can understand where they come from that, because Banks is all looking at the mixtapes that he was dropping. He always had quality beats, so I know he's going through beats. He's shuffling. He's working with producers and having an instrumental catalog, basically. So 50 come in, and we might be working on something, and I might send you a beat package. Work on these some of the things I'm working on, whatever. Then 50 might use some of the beats for his album.
So apparently, Banks had a song. D Money says Banks had a song with Cormega, and 50 took the beat and put someone else on it and put it on Animal Ambition. All right, I'm gonna go look that up. Lloyd.
I heard something like that. I heard that before.
I would love to hear Lloyd Banks and Cormega. I was actually just listening to that record that Dark Low and Cormega did a little while back. I was listening to that.
Cormega.
Yeah. Okay. Banks. Steve Lamron says Banks never wrote the whole hook for In the Club. How y'all taking that credit from 50? No, I was just talking about how several people online said that Lloyd Banks actually wrote the In the Club hook, or helped 50 wrote the In the Club hook.
Right. Yeah.
And I was just sort of taking a stance on the record Stranger Things, where Banks said that he's got a big safe of favors that'll never lend. But a more important bar of that is when he said, when you get on, they checking in. That ain't genuine. Changed my whole perception now that I'm remembering. Changed my whole perception now that I'm remembering. It's like he's had, like you said, Rosewood, this whole album, you really hear the reflection of the 10 years that he took off. You know what I mean? So he's literally remembering his past with 50 Cent. You know, he's literally remembering his past with G Unit. He's remembering his past in the music industry or his past in whatever.
Right. Really his past, like you said, with 50 Cent and G Unit. What up? What up? What up, say? His past with G Unit. You know, that's what he's reflecting on. You know, and reflecting on when it fell apart. And he had to, you know, basically go his own way. And it's like, all right, I dropped the song. 50 was able to get him the deal, whatever like that. But what was the situation before that song?
Oh wow. Shaq Diesel says Lloyd Banks another dollar off the big withdrawal was the song that 50 used to beat. Well, 50 probably owns the big withdrawal.
The beat, you say?
50 probably owns all of Lloyd Banks's albums. Like he probably, you know what I mean?
It's a possibility.
You know, he probably is able to take 50 could probably take anything from G Unit's cat. Well, obviously he could and use it to whatever he wants.
And they were all signed. They always were signed to G Unit. You know, so it's like they never went like, all right, I got an Interscope deal and I'm with G Unit. No, they were signed to G Unit.
So Steve asked this, Rosewood, was there any Rick Ross disses on the album that you heard? Did Ross catch any sniper bullets?
From Banks?
Yeah, did you hear anything on there?
No, I didn't get anything from that. I didn't get anything coming at Ross.
Okay, now let's get into this where people think, let's get into this where basically he takes the moniker of 50 Cent, your favorite rapper, 50 Cent, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. He comes in on his second verse. Your favorite rapper's nowhere near me when I'm dedicated. Always humble, usually disciplined, and never hated. Call me quiet, call me lazy, talent never faded. It's frustrating when you're grinding, ain't appreciated. What do you think, Rosewood, just based off hearing that lyric right there, man? Call me quiet, call me lazy, talent never faded. That was the moniker, Lazy Lloyd.
Yeah, but he's saying look what he's dropping now. And look at his rapping capability to 50's rapping capability. If 50 Cent was dropping a project and Lloyd Banks was dropping this project right here, who do you think would have the better album? And me personally, I would think it would be Lloyd Banks right here. You know, I don't think 50 has that. Like he said, the talent never faded. You know, I was, quiet, whatever you want to say, humble, but I was always top notch with the bars, and I'm still am. And I still can make an album that the people want to hear.
Yep. He said, guess I got to prove myself again. Increase your payment. Get shits together, then the devil comes to rearrange it. Yep. So, I mean, you can read into that however you want to read into that. But he says, guess I got to prove myself again. Increase your payment. So, I think we all know what that says right there, man.
Yeah.
You know, just like I was saying earlier about how he proved himself again with Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, right? He proved himself with Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, and then he had to come, and then everybody was like, yo, you came back. You're here, baby. That's why he's saying, I guess I got to prove myself again. But you know what? This time I want you to increase your payment. This time we ain't doing it on the buddy scale. A lot of these artists, Rosewood, they get signed for $5 million, $6 million. Trinidad James, $2 million.
Facts. That's facts. But what he's saying is, like, I've been putting out music on the mixtape scene, and I guess y'all wasn't appreciating that, or y'all guess I can't make the album. Here y'all go. And now, listen, I need the money. Cut me the check. Cut me the check for the music. And I think he's coming at the labels with that one. Cut me the check.
get shit together, then the devil comes to rearrange it.
Yeah, the bullshit always come your way.
Do you think that's sort of like so he was getting his shit together, right? He had a big single, Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. He had this major single. He could have almost signed to any other label. He probably could have signed to Def Jam or something like that. He probably could have signed to, you know what I mean, Atlantic. Then he ends up signing back with G Unit.
Because of the loyalty.
Was that really his idea, though?
Who knows? But like I said, it was still because of the loyalty at the same time. Like just the fan. But like I said, the G program wasn't the Lloyd Banks program at the time. He needed something totally different.
Wow. It's crazy how he says this. He's like, F all the complaining, cause I'm gonna see the top again. Sunshine or rain don't matter when you're about to win. So he's acknowledging the fact that he is no longer at the top, Rosewood. He's acknowledging, I look at it like this kind of, Lloyd Banks, his position kind of got taken by Meek Mill. I've said that on a few occasions.
Okay, I mean, that's a guy. You can kind of say that. You can kind of say that. But the thing is, like somebody said in the comments earlier, the promotion for Banks, it wasn't there because, like I said, that program that they were on at that time at G Unit wasn't what Banks needed. That wasn't what Banks needed. That wasn't the marketing campaign. That wasn't the team he needed behind him. So if he was able to sign with a Def Jam, Atlantic, or something else, that might have been what he needed, you know, to put that push. But at the end of the day, it's still up to 50 Cent because, like you said, they're under G Unit.
Yep. So everybody go check out the Lloyd Banks album. The shit is a dope album for sure. We're
Definitely a dope album.
Husky, I believe, didn't Ransom just do a track with Lloyd Banks?
Falsified. That's one of the top songs I fuck with on there. Ransom killed that John. Ransom killed it.
So bro, let's talk about Pooh Shiesty, man. Pooh Shiesty's 21 years old. Guess he's been booked into Miami jail on an aggravated battery charge for what happened at the King of Diamonds nightclub, man. And apparently they're saying that the Back in Blood rapper actually shot somebody, Rosewood.
Stupidity on the highest level, man. People drinking stupid juice. And when we talked about this on the live, man, I don't know why like certain artists like just jeopardize their freedom, man, when they get in the bag. You know, we're talking about them getting money on the all-time high right now. So why would you do that? You know, it makes zero sense. And like you got all them other guys around you. Like I said in that live, you take it back to Biggie and like C Gutter. Like he was around, but you know, he took care of a lot of things. Biggie didn't have to do anything, you know.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
You protect the asset at all means possible.
Let me ask you something, man. So this guy's a security guard. If it was a cop, it would be all over. If it was a cop, I don't even think they would have given him an opportunity to actually turn himself in. You know what I mean?
No, they've been hyped. They've been hype as shit.
But if this is a security guard, is there a chance that he doesn't pursue charges? Maybe he gets a settlement reached, and this doesn't go as far as it could potentially go before I just start flipping out over this?
No, that's a possibility. But the thing Pooh Shiesty has to worry about, because he already has a case, the robbery case, and now you have to go in front of your back judge for this case. You know, So who knows how that situation gonna go? But you shouldn't be in that position to be dealing with this. Shouldn't be at all. Shouldn't be at all. Anything that's going to jeopardize you from making music, and that means making more money because you're it right now. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be doing it at all. I don't know where the critical thinking is, or like I said, like where your old heads at. Like it's just like, come on, like I
Now,
don't understand.
Rosewood, I don't exactly know who this is, but Husky said, "Who is bugging? He thinks he is Luke
Okay.
Cage. That's why you have security and lawyers. WTF? Can you address that comment right there, Rosewood?
No, Luke Cage is the Marvel character. One of the Black Marvel characters, basically
Right.
from the hood. But he basically saying he can take on anybody. But that's why you're supposed to have security. If and that's another thing I'm not understanding. Like, if you have all this money and you're worth this, right? I'm pretty sure you have insurance on yourself. Because you're an asset, you're going to have security to protect the asset.
Well, I think they tried to take his chain, Rosewood.
No, it was. I heard it was somebody ran up and tried to took the money out of his pocket.
Oh yeah, the money. Yeah, the
Yeah,
money.
did some real crafty shit.
Well,
Somebody
they
did
were
some real.
trying to take his money, Rosewood.
It don't matter. That means the security is supposed to be on their fucking ass. Like that. I'm talking about like as soon as you touch, as soon as your hand is in there, it's somebody's hand on your wrist. Somebody breaking your wrist. As soon as your hand is touching that pocket, somebody breaking your wrist. And there's somebody else on your neck. So it don't go like that. We're not playing that. We're not
Well,
playing
hold on.
around.
Let's go over something I was thinking about today. You know what I mean? All right, so dude has $20,000 in his hand. If you're going out with $20,000, you should have so much more than that in your bank account. If you're gonna go out with some money like that, you should not be worried about the money in your bank account to the point where it's gonna put you in jeopardy to where you could face 5 years in jail. Because
That is true.
if that security guard ain't a cool ass dude, and most of them usually are from King of Diamonds, that's
Mhm.
gonna be the richest King of Diamonds security guard now, because they're probably gonna settle out of court. They're probably going to settle out of court, and the charges are probably going to get dropped. It was an accident. He was trying to defend himself, didn't know what was going on. He was drunk, you know what I mean? But more importantly, he was trying to defend himself and his property. And that's something that somebody has to understand sometimes.
But I think, and I think that's kind of what the case is. He was defending himself and his property. You know, That's what it was. So it just is. It's just adding unnecessary drama that you really don't need. You know, you really could avoid it. You really could have avoided it by preparing, because it's always somebody out to get you. It's always somebody out scheming. So it's like I'm preparing myself, so I'm making sure I got my security in my crowd or whatever. My security, might be plain clothes, regular, whatever. Some on the stage, some in the crowd. So anything goes down, I can interact with my fans. But if somebody do something goofy, the security that you don't know is with me is right on your ass.
Sneeb Focus says 40,000, somebody's dying. All right, so you're going to jeopardize that $4 million that you have in your bank account?
For
Because
40 racks.
I'm
Right.
pretty sure somebody wouldn't. If you got $180,000 in the bank, you're not walking around with $40,000 on you. Am I right, Rosewood?
Nah. And I mean, for the image and all that or whatever, no matter what's in the main bank account, right? Just for the sake of the image, you're still going to have the security around you. You're still going to have everything around you. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, if you had 40,000 on you, why wouldn't you have a proper security guard? Making whatever a day, 1,000, 1,500. You know what I'm saying? Making whatever he's making a day.
I'm gonna have two of them. I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have two and four of them. Four of them. Like I'm the biggest thing in hip hop right now. I got two on stage and I got two in the crowd. You know,
Yep. It was a big weekend, but yeah, it was a big weekend. But I don't think you do that because now he's gotta go answer to something. Now that 40,000 probably just cost him 300,000 in a settlement, a 200 or a $250,000 settlement. Rosewood.
Possibly, possibly.
I know
Like
I
you
would be
said,
going for more than that. I would
yeah.
be going for
Oh
more.
yeah. Now you know the security. The security. He going to the roof. Like I said, you're the biggest thing. One of the biggest things in hip hop right now. The security boy gonna ask for the roof. You already know how that's gonna go.
That's how it goes, man. You know what I mean? You got to ask for 5 million in order to get a quarter million.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know he's gonna reach for the roof or whatever. But at the same time, man, it just shouldn't have, man. Like he's defending himself, yes. But if you got security, then it don't happen because a lot of rappers go into situations and the security really saves them from going to jail.
So, what do you think the situation's going to be with this Rosewood? Do you think he's going to find a bail for this situation? Will he be out in the next week or so?
It's up to the back judge. It's up to the back judge because, like I said, he's already fighting
Yep.
the case.
Right, because he was arrested in connection with a shooting, right?
Yeah, he's still fighting the case. So right now it's up to his back judge to say what it's going to be. That's why I say he got to wait and see. That's why he turned himself in. Like, just get it over with. Let me know what it's going to be. It's just hard, man.
That's right. He's been out on bond actually since a little bit earlier this year. That's weird because he just got out on bond a little bit earlier this year and now he's going back in for this.
Yeah, now he's going right. Yeah, right. That's crazy. He just got out on bond. He just gave them money. And now, he, like you said, you got to go back in, give him more money.
How is he's reacting to all this money and all this fame? You know, people react to the money and the fame a whole different way. You know what I mean? He's reacting to it really crazy, in my opinion.
I ain't look at it like that, but it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, yo. It's really weird because I don't see making all that money, having the success you had so far, and even more potential to have even more success to jeopardize these things. I don't see it.
Shooting in a nightclub. We just saw what happened to Troy Ave. Nothing has been the same for Troy Ave since. How is Pooh Shiesty even going to be able to perform after this, Rosewood?
Damn. And when you put it like that, man, because it wasn't never the same for Troy Ave after that, like you said. It really wasn't. And he really was defending himself, but no promoter, every promoter and everybody's gonna use that against you. You know? So now, hopefully it'll be to the point where as long as he has security, then he can keep performing. Something like that. And now they like I said in the live when it first went down, hopefully he's able to keep performing at these clubs. You know, hopefully they don't do him dirty, man. It's just, you can avoid it though. You really can avoid it. If you the money you're making, you can easily afford the security so this doesn't happen where you're going to jail. I'm not saying that you can't prevent something from happening. Haha, I got the Zaza. I ain't saying you can't prevent it from happening, but at the same time, if you got the people on your team there watching your back, you good. Mikey T got the flavors, man, fresh out of NY. Got the flavors fresh out of NY.
Yeah, we got a bunch of different flavors. Sneeb says he's young and still learning. Now, we've seen rappers make some mistakes, but we've seen Kodak Black make some mistakes. But is this on another level actually opening fire in a freaking club and hitting somebody? This is kind of another level, in my opinion.
It's similar to Troy Ave. It's similar to the Troy Ave incident
Yeah.
because you're shooting in the club and then somebody gets hit. So they're not looking at what caused you to do that. They're looking at the reaction you took after what happened. So even if you're defending yourself or whatever like that, now Florida got the stand your ground law and all that, but I don't know how they're going to go about it. But one thing he didn't do is prolong it. He just turned himself in and said, "Let's get this. Let's get it started. Let's go." So he's definitely young and still learning. Definitely, definitely. But right now, it's like, all right, you see these other rappers going through these things. It's like I'm trying to really guard up. Like I'm really trying to make my circle as tight as possible. Make everything ran by the book, everything in detail, so we know what's going on. We moving like an army. That's why Cash Money said Cash Money is the army, better yet the Navy, because they're moving like soldiers. They're coming up to New York and all that. This is a whole new experience. They don't know what's going on. Like Hot Boy Turk said in the interview with you, he said when Rough Riders was fighting made men, he said, yo, the New York boys were pulling razors out their mouth. He said, that's a different type of blood. He said, we the shooters, but they was on, that's different. So it's like you got to move in a certain way when you're in the industry. So it's like not saying that you can't interact with the fans. You just have to do what's smart now. And you've seen enough rappers that your peers go through similar bullshit. So it should be somebody in your team that's making sure that, yo, we're not going through the situation such and such, or this rapper went through. We're going to learn from you're supposed to learn from other people's mistakes, not your mistakes.
Is there not a scenario where they could have brought Pooh Shiesty out to his car, and then went back inside and made sure his money was handled? Is there not a situation where that could have happened?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Whoever is your tour manager or your performance manager, they're supposed to be on stuff like that from the rip. For one, as soon as that happens, you're supposed to get the asset out of there. Like I said, you always protect the asset at all costs. All right, get the asset out of there, and then the money is, second.
Nah, they left him there to go crazy. They just left him there to
That's what
wild
I'm
out
saying.
and find out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where your OGs at? Where the
Take his ass
OGs
to
at?
the car. Take his ass to the car and handle that.
Yeah, yeah. And then for real, Mikey T, that 20, 40, whatever, that's nothing, right? Because what's going to happen is that, when whoever your team is go back to recover the money, if it can't recover, they're going to take that up with KOD. KOD going to have to be held responsible for that, So now you take that up with them, kind of like that. If you couldn't get the money back,
Now,
but I'm
let's
pretty
look
sure
at
they
it
were
like
going to
this.
get the money back.
Now we're looking at $40,000 or whatever the alleged amount was. But that's something that normal people make in a whole year. So now these people that are working for Pooh Shiesty for $40,000 to $50,000 a year, they done lost their whole year's worth of money. You know what I mean? They're thinking, but they got to be thinking more than that. It's like that's a little bit of money. You know what I mean? That's a little bit. You got Pooh Shiesty who is making your yearly salary in one night. That's your asset, like you're saying. You need to get him out of there. You don't need to have him in there throwing a temper tantrum, trying to prove he's the biggest gangster in the room.
Exactly. He doesn't have to do that at all. He doesn't have to do none of that. So like you said, get him out of there, get the money back, and then you good. Like it shouldn't be none of that, especially with all the cameras. You got everybody with cameras. Everybody has cameras. So the thing is, it's like, yo, like he came out and he was saying none of that happened. And I'm like, yo, so many cell phone camera footage that just came out of the incident. What's going on.
All right. Well, bro, he's 21 years old. Maybe he doesn't care. I know when I was 21 years old, I was and I'm sure you can remember too. You know what I mean? You probably at a point where you didn't care about what was going to happen. You're like, what can they really do to me? what can they really do to me that I can't come back from? Is that the mentality?
No, I ain't had that mentality because when I was 21, I was definitely on the block trapping. My whole mind state was totally different from that. We was trying to preserve what we had. We had an organization, we had a structure. Shout out to my guy Razor. We out here trapping, and it was never none of that. It was mostly we dip and dodge in the law. It's none of that. So when we
None
start
of that.
making our
What you're
money,
saying is there was no poking your chest out and being the biggest gangster you could be.
no, because
Just
gangsters
so
move in
everyone could see.
silence. Because gangsters move in silence.
Right.
Come on, you never supposed to let nobody. You never supposed to show your hand.
Gangsters move in silence. Gangsters don't shoot up KOD wildin'.
No, oh, that's like some. No, I can't even say like some '90s shit.
That's like some Bishop. That's like some Bishop shit, man, from Juice.
But it's one thing to be a character or portray that or whatever like that, but it's just jeopardizing letting the fire off in the club. It's just jeopardizing you and your freedom. It's just jeopardizing anything to jeopardize your freedom. I'm not for that at all. Anything. I don't care what money you're making. Anything to jeopardize your freedom, not that with that at all. But the position he's in, the music he's making, the money he's making. Now the money he got to shell out, that money could have went to the people that kept him out of trouble. Here, bonus for you, bonus for you.
Right.
Got money back, boom, boom, boom. Because if I would have shoot it up, I would have been legal fees and all this other bullshit. Now I can look out for my folks because they got me out of some bullshit. They genuinely got love for me to keep me out this bullshit. It's not about the money. It's about or even protecting the asset. It's about protecting somebody I love and care about from doing some dumb shit. Or potentially got to go to jail and lose money.
He was on some Shine shit.
Yeah.
And look what happened to Shine. The reason Shine's shows didn't get affected when he got involved in that situation, Rosewood. you know why Shine shows didn't get affected after he got involved in that whole thing with J-Lo and Diddy in that whole shooting?
Because he's going to court and then went to jail, right?
Exactly. Because he went to jail for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's why his shows didn't get messed up. Troy Ave has not been in jail for 10 years. He's been going through the situation for 2 years now or whatever, however long it's been, but he hasn't been doing many shows since then. His shows have been greatly impacted.
Greatly, because Troy Ave was doing a bunch of shows before that happened. He was doing a bunch of shows. And he was able to push his material out to his fans and all that. That whole situation kind of does stall his movement out. For real. It's crazy. It's crazy, yo. So I'm hoping Pooh still got to go through the same thing. It's just senseless for real. Like I said, it's stupid, man. It's stupid.
Yeah, his charge is aggravated battery. So his charge isn't like it's attempted murder or anything.
Right.
It was a leg shot. So I believe that's why it's attempted battery or aggravated battery.
Maybe I'm not sure.
I'm gonna look it up because I want to know how many cases that are shootings that are labeled aggravated battery actually get solved with settlements out of court, or if it's something that the state is going to take, like the state of Miami-Dade is going to take into their own hands.
Well, the state has definitely already took it into their own hands because, it's a charge. It's a criminal charge. So the security guard get paid out. That's a civil case. So you have to deal with the criminal case and then you deal with the civil case. Right. So now, if, like I said, deal with the criminal case and then the civil case.
Or, if he pays him not to show up to court.
I was going to say that too. One of the, there's only a couple options with that. And I can say that by looking at previous rappers from the 90s all the way up to now.
If Pooh Shiesty doesn't clean up his act, the feds are going to be picking up his case. Like he's gotten a major opportunity now to build a brand just as big as all the other guys, and he needs to
Yes,
focus on it.
yes, yes. He has the opportunity to build one of the biggest brands in hip hop. You know, up there with the Young Dolls with Paper Route, or you Gotti CMG, or even how Gucci Man originally had 1017. You know, being a reincarnation of that for real, for real. So I don't, man, blowing opportunities, man, blowing opportunities.
Well, he's really already gotten that opportunity as the face of 10. He's really become the face of 1017. So he's really already got the opportunity where he doesn't even need Gucci anymore at this point to thrive. At this point, he's thriving on his own.
Yeah, he got his own. He got his own way. He got his own way. He's 1017, but as far as his wave, he got his own thing going.
Yep. Yep. He's got
He's
his own.
definitely a representation of a solo artist.
Right now, I'm actually rolling up the Do-Si Do.
Yeah, the feds are always watching, and people always forget about the hip hop cops. You know, they always around. They always around. Always. Gather information. Gather information. Hip hop cops been around since Tupac and Biggie died. So you think they left? No, because there's more crime been happening in hip hop ever since. If anything, they got more of a budget.
Let me see. Hey guys, did you watch the movie called Monster? It's about a black boy who is falsely accused of murder. It's on Netflix.
Now I'm gonna check that joint out though.
I'm gonna go check out the trailer after we get done here. But we actually have a. Let me think. It looks like we got a special guest who's gonna tap in. Steve T. I like that name, man. There's something about that name, Steve T.
Yeah.
Don't
How
know
y'all
what
fellas
it is.
doing?
Yo, Steve. Thanks for tapping in with me and my guy Rosewood.
Salute, my G.
What was it that you wanted to speak on tonight, man? Which are the two topics?
I put some stuff in the chat, but I wanted to touch on, because it's all voice and I'm sitting here smoking and shit and drinking. I wanted to. A lot of people is not talking about how when he dropped in Hunger for More 2, that is supposed to have been on the Def Jam. A lot of people don't remember that he had that chance. This is for y'all talking the loyalty stuff. He supposed to took that project to a major company, but he didn't. And then I didn't like the fact when he did that song with Eminem, and it was at the end of that record, and it was like like a hidden record. You know how Jay-Z on the Blueprint, he had the hidden record for the remixes and stuff, and the Breathe Easy. It was a hidden record, and that was a gold mine.
On Hunger for More 2, right?
Yep. And started up.
Okay. First of all,
By,
he had Kanye on there too, right?
Yeah.
So it really made no sense that Lloyd Banks dropped the Hunger for More 2 on EMI. It really made absolutely no sense that 50 brokered Lloyd Banks an independent deal to drop that album because of all the mainstream talent that he had on it. That's what Steve T is saying right now. It really,
Steve on point with that. Yeah.
It would have been more ideal for Banks to have actually signed with Def Jam at that point. But Rosewood said it really came down to loyalty. At that point, Steve, I don't know if you remember, but 50 was in the middle of bringing all of G Unit to an independent situation with a label called Caroline. Do you remember? And
yes, sir.
And so right before that, he situated Lloyd Banks with the Hunger for More at EMI.
Yeah, he's seen the future. I'm not gonna lie about that. But it didn't work the way it's supposed to work. True. And it hurts me because I always said Lloyd Banks was like the New York Lil Wayne, the baby. He came up, young, rapping under a big group, and then eventually He's supposed to separate it and be his own artist.
Okay.
Not locked into all the junior stuff. Like 50 is he's my top 3. And all this we talking about, I'm 37 now. But I lived through the era on my pills, drinking, smoking, out here messing with women and shit. I lived through that whole era. That's my era.
Yeah, that's our era right there, baby. Facts.
And I'm just disappointed as of what happened. And I didn't like the hot rod with the Kid. When they when they did the G Unit and they started rapping on certain songs and they brought in Kid, and the first thing I said, all Kid bars, anybody can go back and look at everything he rapped with G Unit, top 10, fire. But it got overlooked because so many people was talking about the reunion, where's the game at, this and that. And Kid now is a shelf artist for life.
What's up?
And I just looked at it like a Kid was like a young Juvie.
Yeah, and I could definitely say I see where you're coming at with that one, because like Kid, when they did bring it back, all the light was, like you said, like was Game coming back. It was a lot of controversy. It really wasn't a promotion to promote them as the new G Unit or bringing Kid into the forefront and showing off his talent, showing off his lyrics, or putting the format together like that. And I remember when that was going on, and I never looked at it like that as being like a kind of a stunt, and that goes back to what we were saying about earlier about Kid and Game, is that's 2 different G Unit eras, 2 different eras.
Yeah. It's just very sad, man, that right now I can see that somebody can still, like Kanye West was able to maneuver and still represent where he came from for a long period of time, but he was able to separate and be his own natural artist. And I feel that was snatched from Lloyd Banks. And not because 50 Cent, but certain stuff he did and certain stuff that Lloyd Banks did, and it just didn't hit right,
Okay.
And
Steve,
see this project, I'm really happy that he's out again.
Steve,
I'm very happy.
Let me get your opinion on something, Steve.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Lloyd Banks' first album was July of 2004, Hunger for More. His second album, and it sold 400,000 plus units first week, about double platinum. So his second album came October of 2006. They made this man wait 2 years and 3 months to drop an album. I think that was too long for Lloyd Banks to actually drop an album. I thought it was too long of a time period to wait. What do you think?
I think they put too many projects out in between time to make that slap on. Look, we can look at Hunger for More. I mean, we can look at Hunger for More, which is we got I'm on Fire. It came out the breaks. It sounded like In the Club. I'm on Fire. That record sold the whole album. Now we can go off the features with the one with the Game, the one with Yayo. Even we have Spider Low. Spider Low ended up just being in different spots where we like, who the heck is he? That's another artist that we didn't get a chance to really grow into.
True. That's true.
Yep. He caught his features on the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack, as well as on Tony Yayo's album. But as everybody knows, Tony Yayo's album was really the most least picked up G Unit album. So I don't know, maybe that put a little dampening. And then 50 actually paired Kid with Mary J. Blige, and a lot of people looked at that like a mistake, even though
he didn't earn it. He didn't earn it. That's what you would call. That's like Steve. No, I ain't gonna say Steve Nash. That's like Brad Stevens getting a job from coaching up the president. 50 Cent made a big mistake with Kid. And a lot of people don't talk about this. He got him money. He paid him. I can't say none of that. but the moves killed them off. Because every time he did a move, he even did the song with Kendrick Lamar, and Kid Kid was the first person on that record, and they kicked Kid Kid off and replaced him. Actually, they didn't even replace him. They just kicked his verse off.
Another thing Kid actually told me was about the record he had with 50 and Lil Wayne that they actually premiered in Power, Ejected.
Mm-hmm.
And they were
I never heard that record.
Let me see.
It's because I think they held on to it, or they didn't release it, but then they used it for Power. They did use it, but I think Kid wanted to bring it out before that.
Well, they were supposed to release it that night, is what Kid was saying, but I just don't see why 50 didn't go forward with releasing Kid's album. It's like he stalled up on releasing albums, and I think kind of scared all of us as fans. Like when he kind of like what Irv Gotti was doing with Black Child and Cadillac Ta.
I love Black Child.
He's the man. All right, trivia. Let's see.
Hit him with the trivia, Mikey T.
All right, trivia. Steve, first this question is going to go to you. Hip hop trivia battle interlude. Steve, what was supposed to be the name of Black Child's debut album with Murder Inc.? What was the first title?
I don't know that one, sir.
You don't know? Rose,
no.
Do you know what was Black Child's debut album supposed to be titled?
Child of the Ghetto?
It was not Child of the Ghetto. The second title of the album was actually going to be called Ghetto Gospel. But does anybody know what Black Child's original album title with Murder Inc. was going to be called?
And that was a reach because nobody's banging them in Philadelphia. I ain't gonna lie.
When he said, he said, all I heard was somebody said 50 get the gas and the lights went off. And he said, I just got the poking. And then 50 Cent was stabbed. I was like, oh, snap. Because I've been through some scuffles too, so I know.
I don't know, the raps didn't just hit us in the city like that. Like from them. G-Unit was just hitting so hard. Man, G-Unit was hitting too hard, man. It's like for one, we got state property. Then you got the locks is still around, then you got G-Unit. So the being in competition with those three entities, you had to really be bringing some shit.
Yeah. That
all right.
music felt good.
Let me tell you guys what Black Child's debut album was going to be called. A Soldier's Story.
Yep,
Soldier's Story. Do you think
Black Child real dude? Definitely.
Would that have guys, Steve, Rosewood, would that have like made sense in the stores think back to when you would go to a FYE or whatever, like seeing an album called A Soldier's Story. Has there ever been an album called that, Steve? Or do you think that album do you think that's a good title, or is Ghetto Gospel better?
I think somebody my bad, Steve. Go ahead, my bad.
Well, when I started really getting into buying cassettes before it was CDs, I had bought a lot of No Limit stuff too. And I remember Soulja Slim Give It to Him raw. And that's harder than what you just said. But what you said, that was like a nice album. That sounded like a story that I want to know about.
Right.
But the fact that they had to change that name from Murder Inc. to The Inc. and a lot of stuff was going on with the owners as of legal with the fence and all that, I can see what happened with Murder Inc. compared to looking at G-Unit. And Ja Rule came out with the song My Body, with the girl from Detroit. That was after they said he was buried by 50 and stuff. And it was a hit, but it didn't get pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it was too much going on with them at the time.
So Rose, man, What do you think? Because yeah, you make a good point, Steve. The word soldier really was kind of a mainstream word for hip hop back then.
Hmm.
So Rosewood, what do you think? Would that title have worked for Black Child? Did it make more sense than Ghetto Gospel? And overall, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think the Soldier Story definitely would have been a more marketable tool than Ghetto Gospel, just because like I was thinking of No Limit, with the soldier thing and all that, and it still boils down to Murder Inc. was going through so much at the time that they really couldn't really do the marketing for it and all that. It was just too much going on with Murder Inc. You know, it was just too much going on. G Unit is the juggernaut, and you got all these issues going on. It's really hard to put out the good music, and the album was out on time. R.I.P. Soldier Song. But yeah, but it ain't like Steve said, even though with them having to change the name to the Ink, that just threw everything all off. It was a real messed up situation for them.
Uh,
Like you said, Herb Gotti only had really two artists.
Another good point that Steve brought up was the fact that we sort of all saw what happened to Murder Inc., but we really didn't get to see what happened with G Unit as far as their ending was. We know why Murder Inc. ended. Is that
Yeah.
how did Philly look at it? Did Philly know why G Unit ended?
Uh, yeah, everybody, because we're not that far from New York, so we in tune with the music. So it's like when it was going on, we ain't really know why, none of that. And then when this stuff came out on the radio or on mixtapes or whatever, then that's when we start figuring out, oh, it's over. Okay.
Well, I mean, I
Uh,
guess G Unit only ended because 50 Cent wanted to stop pushing it, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really
Yeah.
it.
I mean, and nobody wanted to go with the format that he wanted. Everybody basically said, "Look, all right, you gave us the path. Now you taught us how to fish. Then let us go fish for ourselves the way we want to do it. So if
No,
Buck
yeah,
want to do it with a net, and I want to do it by a spear, so be it. But
yeah,
still
yeah. It was
support
sort
us
of
the
like
same way."
Rosewood. That's funny you say that. It's like he showed them the path. Like he showed them the path, and it's like they're like, "All right, man. Yeah, it's a good path. We got a certain left part down this path. We're good. We're good. You showed us the path. We're good."
Yeah, now let me just branch off.
Like, yo, you got
And
to keep going down the path. No, I'm good.
let me branch off. This when I branch off this path I'm about to create right here, I'm about to blaze a trail. So I would. That's why it goes back. I think 50 just had so much on his, so much to do.
Okay, Mr. Money says that G Unit ended because the beefs caught up to them and they waited to collab with new artists too late.
That's one of the situations too. And it wasn't. It was just 50 was just beefing with everybody, and that was one of the things with him and Buck. Buck wanted to do songs with. He wanted to do a song with Jadakiss, I think. And 50's
Buck
like, no.
Buck wanted DJ Khaled to play his music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, like that. So it was just basically like 50 was like, all right, listen, I don't care. If I ain't fucking with him, y'all ain't fucking with him. And y'all better not fuck with him at all, do nothing with him at all, none of that, all that shit. And it's weird because now, 50 Cent don't feel that way no more. And it really messed up, like he said, it was a little too late. When they were at their peak, imagine if we would got Lloyd Banks and Styles P or whatever like that. 50 Cent and Jadakiss, or Cameron and 50 Cent or Cameron and Lloyd Banks, or like you said, or we said earlier with Beamer, Benz, and Bentley, Jewels and Lloyd Banks. If it
Yep.
wasn't none of the attention, or
Your
50
key
was like,
word though was in their prime, Rosewood. We never got it. We never got it. Like imagine 50 and Cam in their prime.
right, right, exactly, and the music we
Oh,
would got.
I got a list. I got one here for you, Rosewood. October 17, Lefty Jason says Rosewood, give me your top 5 Philly rappers.
He tried to set me up with that one, Mikey T. He said, "Give me the G five G unit rappers." I'm at
Okay, my bad. I thought he.
Somebody usually hit me with the joint and shit.
Yo, this Do-Si-Do is hitting, yo. This
Yeah, Joe, you fucking with that?
Yo, it tastes just like the Do-Si-Do I got at the dispensary.
Yeah, up in Wide, pretty much. They be on, and you said they had a weed. It was almost like a pop-up convention, right? Yeah.
I tried to tell Jonesy to come into the live tonight, man.
Shout out D Jones, man. Shout out Hattie, man. You know, definitely DVD era legends, man.
Yo, you know D Jones, bro?
No, I don't know him personally. I never met D Jones.
Where you heard about his movement though?
Oh, definitely. Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Where-
D Jones is everybody in the city know who D Jones is. Like I said, DVD staple of DVD era. The DVD era birth basically, the Reed Dollars, the Meek Mills. Like that was the battleground. He's a part of that. And he's still maneuvering after that in the industry. And they're real cool with Dave East.
Yep, and Jadakiss, so raspy.
Mm-hmm.
But I want everybody to go follow D Jones right now from North Philly, man. Tell him Mikey T sent you. Show him some love. Be like, yo, Mikey T told me to follow you, D Jones. Salute. But let's get into the list. Let's get into the list that you guys want. Let me see who asked the question. October 17th, Lefty Jason said, give me your top 5 G Unit rappers. So let's do the top 5 G Unit rappers, Rosewood. I'm going to let you go first.
All right, because I was about to say earlier, they probably were tapped in, but I probably gave my first 3 earlier. It was 50 Banks Buck. 50 Banks Buck. Then I had to go with Game and Kid Kid.
Game and Kid Kid. So 50, Banks, Buck, Game,
Kid Kid.
Okay, my top 5 G Unit rapper list. All right, so let's go. Let's do this. Number one, just because his all right. So his first 2 albums were the best 2 albums that G Unit ever put out. The best 2 albums that G Unit ever put out was Straight Outta Cashville and Buck the World. Those 2 albums arguably better than 50 Cent's first 2 albums. I know for a fact that Buck the World could give the Massacre a run for its money.
You got a point.
So I'm putting Young Buck at the top of the G Unit list. Young Buck is my number 1 G Unit rapper. And I'm not considering all the other mixtapes he did, like the Rehab and all those freaking 10 mixtapes. I wanted to say earlier, I don't feel like Buck gave those albums any type of considerable rollout to what Lloyd Banks has done just now.
Facts. That's true. Definitely did.
So Buck is number 1. Then we're definitely going to have to go. We're going to definitely have to go 50, number 2, I guess. Are we going 50, number 2? We're going to go 50 in Game. No, 50 in Game, tied for number 2. 50 in Game, number 2. Number 3. Number 3, I got to give that to my guy, Tony Yayo. Just because y'all know I love Yayo. I'm going to sign Yayo when we get on Rosewood. Rosewood's probably going to be giving me hell.
That's your man. No. Yayo, I fuck with Yayo, man.
Yayo's going to be in the office, Rosewood.
Yeah, I fuck with Yayo.
And nobody will give Yayo a problem in the office. Yayo gets to smoke in the office. Yayo gets to. He's got his own personal water cooler.
He
And
deserved it. He earned that. He earned that though, man. You go gold, you deserve that, man. You sell 500,000 physical copies. You've been on tour all around the world. Yeah, you deserve the smoking off. You deserve your own cooler, man. You put in the work.
Then we got number 4. 50 Cent signed the Legends. Blood Money was the album. Mobb Deep was the group. 4. Mobb Deep. Giving it to Mobb Deep at number 4. Their album was cool. You know, they featured all the original G Unit guys. They had 50 on there. They had the videos for Have a Party with Nate Dogg. They had the joint for Put Them in Their Place, where they what were they driving tanks around New York or something in that video?
Yeah, I remember that video.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so we could do the groups. All right, so that's what I was saying. They didn't say artists, so I separated the artists. You know, and I was gonna get Prodigy my honorable mention.
Yep. So that's 4. Mobb Deep is number 4 because I definitely love the Blood Money album, but we didn't get anything more from them because Prodigy went to jail and he gave a clause to opt it. Right when Prodigy found out he was going to go to jail and got the case, he opted out of the deal and started releasing those solo albums. So in number 5, just to round it out, the number 5 artist that I like on G Unit. Oh, we definitely got to give it to the artist that never got to release an album on G Unit. I'm going to give it to Mace, baby.
Mace. I was thinking about Mace too. That's why I was saying. Now I was thinking about it. I was like, damn, Mace. That Mace mixtape he dropped when that was going to be a great rollout. We was hoping, damn, Murder Mace back. We got Murder Mace. He dropped the mixtape. All right, we thinking everything going good, and nah. Puff ain't want to do the deal.
He wanted
50 Cent came out with a diss song.
It's really weird that I'm not sure if it's the same type of thing, but 50 said that Diddy wanted $2 million for Mace, and 50 wouldn't pay it, right? But whatever years or months later, Mace went to a radio station and got Diddy to sign off on his release. You must have saw that video, right, Rosewood?
Yeah, no, I saw it for the release. Yeah, I saw it for the release.
When Mace walked in and had Diddy sign the paperwork on live radio, right?
For the release, yeah.
Now, does that mean he could have went out and did a G Unit album? Is that what 50 was trying to do or something?
Yeah, 50 was trying to get him released out of his contract under Diddy, so he can release an album under G Unit.
Wow. So he didn't do that despite 50, more than likely.
It had to be, because I was thinking that they were going to do a cross promotion with Bad Boy and G Unit. I thought they would do both, so it can get put out there to the fans, and both of them would have made money. But it didn't happen that way.
Easy Murder said Banks is number 2. Wasn't Banks your number 2?
Yeah, 50 Banks, then Buck.
Yeah, nah, I was never really too much into Banks. I like Yayo. I like Buck. Mobb Deep's. I like Mobb Deep more than Banks as well on G Unit. Banks wasn't my favorite on G Unit, man.
Banks was I was banging with Banks, man. I like when he brought Mobb Deep, but it was just so unfortunate Prodigy caught that nut ass case. Right when, that's why I said, even going back to Pooh Shiesty, it's like, where your OGs at to be like, yo, I remember Prodigy having a situation and not being able to put out music because he gets the gun charge? Yeah, got the gun charge, with the chipped up Range Rover,
Prodigy?
Yeah. So he got caught up in all that, goofiness.
Because he took Prodigy.
Yeah, he's straight street dude or whatever. So for the younger generation to be repeating stupid stuff or whatever like that, when you see older rappers go through stuff that they ain't had to go through, it don't make no sense for real, for real.
Husky said, "Yo, Mikey, we needed an LL Cool J, Lloyd Banks, and 50 Cent song in the early 2000s. A Queens, New York song or love song would have been fire." Rosewood, did Philly catch the wind of 50 working with LL Cool J, or did you not really catch it?
No, man, I never heard of 50 working with uh
They made a whole album together.
no, I'm saying like when it like before they made the album, we weren't like it wasn't like something that was on everybody's radar. Like yo, we waiting for 50 LL album or maybe if they had a song we would be waiting, but it wasn't nothing that we were. I wasn't grabbing the mixtape to really hear LL at the time.
October 17th says, maybe Mikey feels like Banks was too lazy and could have done more. So you're saying maybe I feel exactly how 50 Cent pretty much said he felt.
Talking about you and Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, for sure.
Stranger Things.
I've heard Lloyd Banks has heard Stranger Things.
Right.
Oh, let me
I
see.
believe it. Yes, definitely.
Mr. Money says G-Unit doesn't get enough credit. Everybody's first album was classic.
You didn't get a lot of credit.
Yeah, G-Unit gets the most credit for having an album released by every major artist on the group. G-Unit gets that credit.
Yeah, they got that credit. They got that.
State Property doesn't get that credit. Not to throw any shade your way.
No, it's no shade to, but it's no shade to them. But it really is though. Like they
all didn't get to drop albums, right?
Right, and that's the way. Like I said earlier, 50's impact was so major, and the pressure that was on the other artists for them to be able to make that feat where they're selling records, not as much as 50, but they're top tier record sellers.
How was it different? How was it different? NWA, all of them didn't go solo. How was it different? Death Row didn't start as a group. G-Unit came out as a group. We saw it all. Stunt 101. They had the dude that was locked up, Yayo, and then they all came out and they all had their solo runs. No other group ever did that.
Except for, I'll say before that, it was just the Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang was the only ones that was really like a.
That was different, bro. That was different
they
because
branched out.
as we've spoke on before, it was a little bit different because they all really did branch out to different labels. Old Dirty Bastard, Elektra.
Yeah. Right. That would be the difference because they were all under, like you said, they all under G-Unit, and they're still they're selling. They're selling.
Yeah. Was it hard for Philly to believe that the game was in G-Unit, or did you guys look at the game no other way because of the way he was presented?
No, we ain't look at him no other way. He's presented perfectly. He presented game perfectly.
That's how you knew him when you first heard of the game as G-Unit, right? Or did you know game before he was G-Unit?
Before he's G-Unit, there was a couple songs. It was like a mixtape that had game songs on there, but Dr. Dre was hosting the mixtape. And then they had a few game songs on there, and we thought he was Dr. Dre's artist.
Yes, he was wearing the NWA chain, right?
Yeah, we thought he was Dr. Dre's artist. And then he had it was a picture of him and Dr. Dre, like in the Source or something, or Double XL, like that. So we thinking that's Dr. Dre artist. Like it was the picture with the article. They used to put the article under the picture. So we thinking that's Dr. Dre artist. And when he went to G-Unit, we thinking it's like G-Unit Aftermath. For real. So it looked like it was a perfect fit any old way.
Yeah, he was always Dre artist, but the thing was, Dre has had so many artists that sometimes the projects just don't connect. Dre's you know what I mean? Dre is a studio guy. He stays in the studio all the time, working with countless artists. I mean, shit, Busta Rhymes, The Game. You know what I mean? All these dudes, man, countless names.
Mm-hmm. Scott Storch, so many people. Rakim. Like so many people, man. So many people. Eminem, 50 Cent. You know, so many people he's working with. So I think
Oh,
it was.
Rosewood. How did Philly feel about the game's Meek Mill diss? Were you guys
Uh,
with Meek? Were you guys banging with the game?
it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It was entertaining. It wasn't nothing we went crazy about or people were banging it constantly. We listened to it. It was entertaining. That was it. You know, when he went down South Philly talking about a cheesesteak and all that, we was like, nah, man. That's what made it weak. If he would have went to Max's and shot that video out in front of Max's, then we would have gave him his props. Go to the trenches and do that, John. I wanted him to be in front of Max's, eating the cheesesteak and throwing it on the ground type stuff. No, he ain't. He knew better.
Hold on. So Rosewood, would anything have happened to him if he went to Max's?
And did that video?
Yeah. Would he have just been able to film the video?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no. Fuck no. 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 You in North Philly. Phones would have been ringing off the fucking hook.
Hold on. So people wouldn't have just pulled up onto the video. Yo, Game, what up, man? What up, Game?
Some people would have, but then that's going to quickly change. Nah, man.
So where did he go? Happening. Where did he go? To Gino's?
Yeah, he went to the tourist location. He went to the tourist spot.
And why couldn't they get to the tourist spot quick enough?
That's a safe zone. Safe zone, Mikey T.
Safe zone.
We ain't drawn in the tourist spot, man.
Okay. And what part of Philly is that in Rosewood? Like, what is it?
It's in South Philly.
Oh, it's in South Philly. Mm-hmm. Okay. And just for how far is Gino's from Max's?
45, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. About 30 minutes. Yeah, because
really?
Max's is in North Philly. Gino's and Pat's is in the heart of South Philly. So you got to get on the expressway and go down there.
Okay. And then Tony Luke's you always see on your way out.
Yeah, Tony Luke's is at the very bottom. The very bottom.
And is that worth it or no?
Yeah, Tony Luke's is pretty good too. Tony Luke's is pretty good.
Tony Luke's is way better than Pat's and Gino's?
I want to say way better. I don't like Gino's. Pat's is a staple. Gino's, yes. I'm sorry. It's just eating cheesesteaks for so long. Gino's, no. Pat's cool. D'Alessandro's on Henry Avenue got some of the best cheesesteaks in the world. If you come to Philly, Mikey T, we go to D'Alessandro's. You won't regret it.
But what about the owners of Gino's? Do you really know the owners of them and shit?
I met the owners of Pat's when I was a young boy, going down there with my dad.
Word. I'm just saying that because someone would be like, "Yo, Rosewood, man, what you don't like Gino's, man? Come."
Nobody. I'm about to say anybody in here that's from. If they're in the comments from Philly, let me know if you like Gino's. I guarantee you the majority would definitely say no. If you say yeah, you got to be crazy. Because no, it's just Pat's. It's just always Pat's. Pat's is the original.
If you're a regular out of town dude, you can go to Max's.
He
said if you're a regular out of town dude, can you go to Max's?
Game was coming on the bullshit. It wasn't like Game wasn't coming. Game he does in the city, and he doesn't have any controversy. He's going to Max's, then yeah, you're gonna get a lot of love. You're gonna get, but coming when you got some drama, that's different.
Yeah, it kind of probably would have been like that whole scene when Meek showed up. Like when that whole mob was around Meek when they said somebody got pistol whipped. That whole, like if Game like went to that area, there probably would have been a whole mob showing up to being like, yo, you can't film your video here potentially. Unless
Meek probably wouldn't have been there. It would just been so many people from Philly, all over. People would have been coming from all over, all the parts of Philadelphia. Everybody that fuck with Meek heavy in the city, and that's the whole city, is going to come from every part, either to take part in it or to see it actually live.
All right. So let me run a name or two by you from Philly that could have went there to hold the game down so he could have shot that video.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I guess so if Arab was out there, would game would have been good in North Philly to shoot the video right in front of Max's?
Yeah, I wouldn't let him do that. I wouldn't let him do that because it's disrespecting the city.
All right. But if Ab was allowing it, it would happen.
Yeah, if he say don't, if it's like no harm comes to the man or whatever like that, then everybody got respect for Ab in the city or whatever. It's no like no bullshit and nothing like that. They just like, all right, we ain't gonna fuck with him. But
Right.
people
Right.
they're gonna be talking filthy to you while you shooting your video.
All right, so let's put it in a different scenario. If the game had signed Arab, then
Oh, that's a different story. Yeah,
that's a whole different story.
That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. Yeah, because it's about the money, right? It's about the money right there. It's about the money.
If Game had signed Arab, Ab would have most likely been on pest control in the video, and then there would have been no qualms about wherever they shot the video.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Unless O'Malley came and stepped up to all of them at the video set.
I mean, I can't even say that's true because we don't know. We don't know. But at the same time, it just went. I know Game's not going to go to Max's and do that. Like I said, nobody in the city is going to really like that because it's going to look like disrespect for the city.
All right. So what about Cassidy? I don't want to put you on the spot like this, man. I'm like, I don't.
Cassidy was with Game.
Yeah.
It don't really matter because you dissing Meek, and you're not. It's not like it's another Philly rapper that's coming at Meek, because then that's like competition. We look at that as city competition. That's how we look at it. We don't look at it as beef.
Here to shit on our city right in our bowl. You're coming here right to spit right in our face.
Yeah. That means you took a trip all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast to do that. Nah. So that's the whole thing. That's why I said it was entertaining. Watch the video. And that was it. But then when he tried to do the antics after that with the cheesesteak thing, it was just like, all right, now you're doing too much. Made the video cool.
Yeah, I think he honestly, I think that's a beef that really didn't need to happen, man. That was stupid because they had made a record.
It was stupid. That was stupid too. Yeah, that was a stupid beef.
They had a record together called The Soundtrack, if I'm not mistaken, which was a really awesome track. And I thought they were cool. I thought they had a cool sound together as well. So it really made no sense to me, Rose, with them beefing.
They did have a good track, yo. They did. You're right. They did.
I think it had something to do with Nicki Minaj, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a bunch of bullshit. I know that. It was a whole lot of clout chasing and all that. Lane Breezy, Philly definitely ride for the home team. But it was just a lot of clout chasing and all that. That era then, man, a lot of clout chasing going on. Stupid stuff. And it's so sad that we realize now that all that controversy, we missed out on good music, good collabs. Even going back to like we were saying with 50 Cent and G Unit, not being able to do songs with other artists.
Young Buck and Fat Joe.
Or even like Buck saying he wanted Khaled to play his music.
Instead of Young Buck and Lil Wayne working together, they wanted Buck to beef with Lil Wayne. I don't know if you remember Rap City, Young Buck calling out Lil Wayne on Rap City.
No, they did. They did. I remember that strategy.
Why would they do that? That would have been. They didn't think Lil Wayne was going to be as big as he became, I guess, because like them working together would have been on such another level.
And you know what, Mikey T, always thought, this is just my opinion, I always thought that 50 Cent didn't see the potential Lil Wayne had that he was going, reach.
He comes bigger than 50
he
Cent.
was hot, but the star status, rock star status that he is now, or even, a couple years ago when he started, dropping like those bangers, I don't think 50 Cent seen that, So, and he like, oh yeah, you can beef with him. You can go at it with him and it'll boost your sales. So that goes back to them I saying like the certain blueprint might not work
Boost
for
your
the certain
sales.
artists.
Boost your sales. How about actually making sales? How about actually selling an album? How about actually making a song that sells 2 million copies?
Sure.
Never mind boosting your sales because of people having an interest in your beefing with somebody. What's that going to do for your longevity?
Nothing. That's one of the reasons why a homie that was on earlier, I feel why he say he disappointed is because of stuff like that. Like I'll be like, we wanted more. We wanted more. Like I said, that era, state property, the Lodge G Unit, like that's what we wanted more. And we had the guys down in Houston doing their thing with the independent thing. So we had the Paul Walls and the Mike Joneses and all the Swisher House stuff and all that. You had that going on at the time. Chameleonaire and them doing their thing. So it was like you had all that going on. So it's like I understand what he said. You miss opportunities to work with a lot of people. Make a lot of songs, and it adds to the longevity of your catalog. That's the thing, the longevity of your catalog. Because 50 Cent's gonna have an extensive catalog. But if I'm Banks, Buck, I'm trying to make an extensive catalog on my own too.
Andy asks, Rosewood, Cassidy versus Eminem. Who you got?
In a battle,
It's got to be M, right?
Listen. You already know that the answer will be Eminem, but I'm not counting Cassidy out. That's the thing in a battle format, and whatever the format would be, how they set it up. I think that would be a good battle. Because you know why? Because just like how Cassidy had to adapt to the way the new way is or whatever like that, M will have to kind of do the same thing.
Let me ask you this, Rosewood. Is there anybody else that could battle Eminem besides Cassidy? Maybe I sound crazy. Maybe would Loaded Lux be a better battle with Eminem? Or
You talking about? No. Ain't nobody. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. And I can give Cassidy those props because his battle credentials, and his bar credentials, and what he's doing now. So that's why I said, yes, he's the favorite to win, but coming in the way the battle is now, how you have to bring the bars with the crowd, how Cassidy is figuring out. Eminem will try to have to kind of make that transition too. He can't just be the Eminem that raps on the track. You have to be Eminem the battle rapper. So that would be really interesting to see. But I don't think anybody else on there, it would have to be maybe another mainstream artist.
I could see Eminem getting like A-Rab. I could see Premium, just use your video, my dude. Use your video and we'll bring you into the chat. But I could see like Eminem getting an audio of like A-Rab from jail. You know what I mean? And then he played it in the middle of the live. Everybody would remember that shit like crazy.
Now that's why I said Eminem is real creative. So that's why I said it would be real interesting. You see how it is. And I think both teams and whoever is sponsoring it will really work together to put on a perfect performance.
Look, Flacco says Cass. Kyle says Cassidy would beat M.
Damn, the comments they own it. I was just, if anybody was wondering why they would say that, I would think it would be because, like I said, M will have to really adapt on how Cass has adapted into the battle scene. he can't be Eminem the rapper. He has to be Eminem the battle rapper. And we haven't heard Eminem the battle rapper since like 1998. So,
Exactly.
dang.
Exactly, Mr. Money. Wayne could go with Eminem, but that would be more like a versus.
That's what I was saying.
We're
An
talking
industry
about a
person.
battle right now, you guys.
Right.
But, yo, we're about to bring in a guest. We got the premium network about to tap in, so let me bring in my guy to introduce himself. Yo, what's up, man? Introduce yourself to the people.
It was good, man. My name's Premium. I'm not really a big YouTube star, nothing like that, man. But I do be on the lives more. I mean, chiming in here and there and shit like that. But I'm a huge G Unit fan, man. I was born in '94, so I was really into hip hop, like more like the 2000s. I was 8 years old when 50 dropped the Give a Shit I Try and track. You know what I'm saying? So like that was like my first rapper I ever got like starstruck with. Before that, I wasn't really attached to anybody as a fan. Maybe Master P because my sister was like a huge R&B head, and like the only rap she had was the No Limit Squad. You know what I'm saying? So by default, I was a No Limit fan, whatever the case may be. But when 50 came out, that was when I was like, really into G Unit.
So
And
let me
really,
ask you, Premium.
it was up.
So yo, in this record, Stranger Things, one of the first lines that Lloyd Banks says, he says, sometimes the pressure overwhelms you when you're the head of the clique. Do you think the pressure of G Unit blowing up so massively with all the artists going platinum kind of overwhelmed 50? Do you think Lloyd Banks is even referring to 50 with this line, or is it obvious that he is?
Well, I would say this, man. I feel like only two people destroyed G Unit. That was Game and 50, but 50 was like the main person behind the wheel that drove G Unit to where it's at right now. Because 50, if you compare Wayne and 50, right? If like how Wayne was, looking over Drake and Nicki, and how 50 was looking over Buck and Banks, Wayne gave both Drake and Nicki more control, more of control over their career. As
Yeah.
with 50, 50 had them like soldiers, and like he had that street
Right.
mentality. But Wayne wasn't on that street soldier shit. He was like, yo, this is a business. Let's get this money. I know Drake can spit bars. We know Nicki can spit bars, but let's attack the clubs. Let's get the girls, let's get the teenagers, let's get the emos, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But when
Facts.
50
And you
couldn't
know what?
see,
Yo, Premium, I see what you're saying. That kind of like
That's true.
he that like alleviates some pressure from you as well. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yep.
yeah. So like you gotta look how how people run their business.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I'm
boot
saying?
camp. Right, yeah, like boot camp over there.
Yeah, and like when you do that, man, like I mean that could work with some young cats, you know what I'm saying? But like these are some grown men, you know what I'm saying? Now Game, shit, Jim Jones said it in an interview how Game told Jim Jones, oh, when I get on the G Unit, I'm about to go ahead and do what 50 did the Ja Rule. So he
Mm-hmm.
was a cat from the jump too. You know what I'm saying? So he was already the bug that was trying to ruin G Unit from the start.
Mm-hmm.
So those two people right there is the reason why G Unit is not really up there with a Dipset is right now.
No.
Because
Well,
Dipset,
when it's like there's good and bad to it because
Fact.
50,
yeah,
50 actually made more money with the game than he did with any of the other G Unit artists. I don't think that 50 was going to have as big a success records like How We Do and Hate It or Love It with Banks or with Yayo or with Buck.
No, he would have. No, that was a whole nother formula right there. That was bringing the West Coast to the East. Like,
yeah,
And Premium, I don't know if you had caught it when Rosewood was talking. You might have, but 50 was telling these guys, listen, beef with this, that, do this to create controversy so you can generate some interest in your album. Beef with Lil Wayne to generate interest in your album, rather than work with Lil Wayne and sell 1 million copies of a song to
yeah,
generate interest in your career.
yeah,
yeah, because even look what he did with the whole thing with his album versus Kanye West album. He made that like a competition thing instead of us going out there and releasing a good album and let the sales and the people dictate who has the better album.
And
He had
also,
to promote it all like it was a fight, like a boxing match.
the element to that, that was when like the changing of the guard with hip hop was really coming into fruition. Because around that time, Lollipop was popping. You know what I'm saying? You got the college. Everybody switching the clothes. Because in hip hop, clothes switch every 5 years.
Right.
Like a new sound, a new wave switches every 5 years. So that whole G Unit, gunshots every 5 seconds of the track, that shit was getting played out. Now niggas is really on that. Oh, who's blood? Who's bringing all the girls to the club and all that shit, man. So yeah, I feel like
Different type of sound. Different type of sound coming in.
yeah, and like
Different type of way.
said 50 was that old Coke and Kanye was that new Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, change to the guards, man, and like that whole G and stuff. Like he's the main reason why I started listening to Cassidy and Jadakiss more, because I was, as like I said, I was 8 years old when Get Rich or Die Trying came out, so I was already a G Unit head. I was like, man, fuck Jadakiss, fuck the game, fuck Ja Rule, fuck Fat. Anybody who has a problem with 50, fuck them niggas. I'm only on that 50 Cent train. But as I got older, then I started fucking with the niggas who he's beefing with, like Jadakiss. I never really knew Jadakiss was that fucking nice until I got older.
Yeah, see now I I appreciate you coming in, my G, because I like to hear that. Because when that album came out, I was in my 20s, so I like to hear like how it was for a young boy listening to G Unit, how you felt or whatever. Because even like in the city of Philadelphia, like we didn't take that sentiment. Like we always fuck with Jadakiss, even when him and Seagull was beefing, and all the artists that he beefed with, we always fuck with. So and then like even the younger, like if you were like 8 years old, 9 years old, we kicking the same philosophy. Like, yo, you gotta listen. You ain't listen to the Locks album, you ain't listen to We Are the Streets. You like, oh young boy, what you doing out here? Nah, go listen to this, and then come back. So
Let
I
me
like
address this. Simp Down is saying, what does that got to do with G Unit though? Let me address what that actually has to do with G Unit, what Premium is actually talking about with all these guys that we became invested with that were members of G Unit. All these guys that we gave an opportunity over the Jadakiss, the Styles P, the Fat Joe. We gave them all an opportunity because they were 50s guys. But in all reality, man, and these artists were actually better. I mean, I know we're on here showing Banks and Young Buck and Yayo a lot of love, but Fat Joe and Jadakiss and Styles P, they're all arguably better than the G Unit artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then at that time, they were putting out the songs where they were still relevant. So they were basically like, all right, G Unit is this big machine. We going at y'all, and that produced good music for them. But at the same time, I just wish we could have got more. Like they would have had the little beef. It would have ended sooner, and then we could have got more music from the artist 50 was going at it with.
And Andy says, do y'all think rappers need some type of rivalry to be successful? No, I was just touching on that. I think in all honesty, and it looked like Premium, it looked like you were agreeing with me, but I think it's better it would have been much better for Young Buck's career to make a record with Lil Wayne, who went on to create Lollipop, that he could have toured with Lil Wayne. Then, make a record with DJ Khaled that he could have toured with Khaled. What do you think in that regard, Premium?
I feel like 50, like there's a reason why 50 only fucks with boxing. He's not really on that basketball teamwork effort. He's more of a lone wolf, but he has a team with him. That, like, again, the whole soldier mentality, sergeant, cadet, all that, the ranks, all that bullshit. He's not gonna allow that. It's only G Unit and nothing else. So around that time, man, it's really hard to change somebody in their ways like that. So at that time, 50 was really ruling with an iron fist. And and like I said, I mean, and add on to your point, 50 was controlling the narrative because he had that machine behind him. There's a lot of people, the whole order of protection and shit like that. But you got Jimmy Iovine, Eminem, and Dr. Dre behind you. and you damn near a multi-millionaire. You know what I'm saying? You could damn near stop anybody's album from coming out. So you can blackball anybody, and like you can really control the narrative and like how and play how you want to play it.
And no, that's that. I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. That's a good point because that goes into what I was saying with like Buck basically saying Buck wanting to do his thing, and it would have been better for Buck, because he was looking at the down south market.
Yeah,
He's looking at that market. Like, all right, if it's going to be a G Unit South, I need to build a G Unit South.
Rosewood, not to interrupt you, but it seems like somebody took my comments for something I was just pulling out of my ass a few seconds ago. But you need to go and look at Jadakiss's catalog. Go look at all of his albums. Go look at Fat Joe's catalog. These men, Style Piece catalog, these guys have more extensive catalogs than Banks and Buck
yeah.
and Yayo. Like,
Joe was the first artist to get $7 off an album.
I don't think y'all can
This
name
was before
better.
Lean Back.
Yeah.
Yo, what song does any of the G Unit guys have that is better than Knock Yourself Out?
I'm about to say I'm So Fly.
Knock Yourself Out that's a club banger right there. And a
I'm
banger.
So Fly was a failure.
That was a nice song though.
I'm So Fly was like I don't know. I'm So Fly didn't exceed On Fire. I'm So Fly wasn't bigger than Karma.
No.
And what was the other single? Was there one more single from Hunger for More? Warrior was kind of a single.
Yeah, Warrior.
Warrior was a disappointment as well to me, though.
It was.
Part 1 or part 2?
Both.
Both. But like I said before, man, like 50 controls the narrative. So like if 50 say you ass, then like the whole public perception would think you ass. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 can like drop a meme about Ja Rule right now, and everybody would start hating Ja Rule again. And it's been like 20 years since they even had that little back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, man, like we like really in that power, man. You can control the narrative, and that's what we in right now.
Yeah, I just really wasn't feeling the flows in the. I wasn't really feeling the cadences on Warrior Part 2, man. When they're like, "This is the story of a warrior, and now you know it, true warrior." And then Eminem came in. He's like, "Turn something from something to nothing." I just really wasn't feeling it. I really wasn't even feeling Banks's Get High record with Snoop. I really wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't like that record either. Nah.
Yeah, that was a disappointment. I thought that was gonna be much better.
If 50 don't even smoke or drink, so like it's kind of like you fronting, like you don't even do none of that. So,
well, I mean, 50's smoke record. I Get High. You know what I mean? Every time I roll up, that was one of the best smoke songs ever.
It is. That is true.
But I'm just saying, I like Banks's parts, but Snoop's verse really disappointed me when he because I was kind of expecting more of an old school Snoop on a Get High
right. Right. Yeah, he brought it was past that joint.
Was a singer. Yeah, I still remember the shit though. So what does that say?
That is just stuck in your brain as being one of the songs that could have been better.
Yeah.
Now Warrior, what was it about Warrior? Was it the song length?
I think the beat was fire.
The beat was fire, but it was something about it that wasn't pushing it to the next level. I think it can only reach one level, and the replay value kind of dropped.
I tell you what, though, I feel like 50, how he came in with his verse, how he just like came in and started spitting. That was nice. The little sound effects when he came in and started his verse, that was nice. But as far as I think Banks had the worst verse in that song. I think M and 50 had the better verse.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about the Warrior.
You talking about Wood Banks album?
Yeah, maybe I was just upset that they didn't give it its own video, but I'm looking it up on Wiki right now.
I'm about to say, did they have a video for that?
No,
They
no,
only,
it was a video after the On Fire joint. It was like a
right.
2-for-1 video.
They only
Right,
gave me
right,
half
okay.
the video. So that
Okay.
probably upset me, but also it was the shortest song on the album, 2 minutes 47 seconds.
Mm, mm.
So
Yeah.
so maybe that threw me off back then.
Ain't Lloyd Banks like an introvert? I mean, that kind of that's what I think. Why he's not really out in the public like he is. You know what I'm saying?
I think he just likes to chill and do his own thing, man. I think he likes to enjoy his money and enjoy his family.
Also,
Mhm.
I want to point out something else about Lloyd Banks too. I feel like the new Lloyd Banks style of rapping is trash to me. I feel like the older Lloyd Banks, like the 2004, the Victory Freestyle type of Lloyd Banks, that's Lloyd Banks I like. But this whole trying to flow, something like Bone Thugs and Harmony, I'm not really feeling it.
So, what do you rate the new project that he just dropped?
I gotta listen to it again because, like, to me, when I first heard it, I was getting the same Halloween Havoc, Cold Corner feeling from it. You know, the whole boom bap. Every track is boom bap. Not saying that's bad, but I don't like a project. It just like every song sounds the same to me. But then again, I might be wrong. I might listen to it again.
So
Um,
so let me ask you, Premium. How do you differentiate this from that Halloween Havoc to the Hunger for More? Why are they calling it an album? Just are they calling it an album just because it's been 10 years, or can you tell that it's more than those other mixtapes?
well, it's just the set like his flow pattern. It's the same. It, to my ears, it's the same thing. You know, the whole flowing, those run-on synthesis and flowing of words and stuff like that. I don't really like that Lloyd Banks. The Lloyd Banks I like is the one is like 2002 through 2006. Lloyd Banks, you know what I'm saying? Just he's not flowing. He's not trying to sound like Crazy Bone. The nigga is actually rapping bar for bar.
Yep.
Well, I can't. With this John, I can't say even it's like no Bone Thugs. He's coming with the bars on this, and it kind of and it doesn't remind me of Cold One or Two, because that's one of my favorite Lloyd Banks mixtapes. With the Statue of Liberty on there in gray. Like that got some of the bangingest beats on there, but still that's not an album. This is really an album, and even the features he put on there brings a whole nother element. That's why I said that joint with him and Ransom is crazy. Ransom burnt that joint down. So, like you said, if if you're looking for something to change up other than like boom bap or whatever like that, but that's what really fits Banks, demeanor. Banks doesn't, the party songs or whatever like that, he's not really going to get into. He
How you
might
feel
give you
about
some smooth joints, like with somebody singing on the chorus like that. But other than that, it's really going to be hard street stuff, man. It's really catered for the people the guys that's in the streets and that can be relating to the stuff that he really talking to on those hard beats, you know.
okay? Well, I'll tell you. Let me ask you a question. Then. How you feel about Beamer Bizza, Bentley, and Started Up and tracks like that? It's not really boom bap, but still has some radio stuff into it though.
Well, what I'll say is at that time, that was the songs that was necessary to be played to get you out there. So now, like with the emergence of Griselda, and even I would say the emergence of Griselda and OBH, it kind of brung back that raw hip hop, 94 to 98 feeling, that it's a lot of people love, especially a lot of people overseas. They love that. So to bring that type of music back and have the same like the other type of music as far as like Lil Baby or the Baby who like those type of people or even the Yo Gotti's and stuff, to have different types of music is always better. It never just one type of music, different types. So I think Banks fits right in there.
Okay, I respect that.
But yeah, Premium, man, I appreciate you joining us tonight, my G.
Or anytime, man.
Hell yeah.
Salute.
I'm subscribed too, man.
Hell yeah. Tap
Definitely
in with us,
salute.
man. Stay in tune, bro.
Oh, definitely will,
Definitely.
man. Thank you, man. Stay up.
Thanks. Dope, man. Premium. Cool ass dude right there. Hope he comes on and joins us again in the future, man.
Yeah, he brings some good insight too. Like I said, he's younger, so I like that he came in and shared his experience of listening to G Unit. Being 8. I'm 20 at the time, so I was like, I'm glad he came in. And he had some good points too. He made some good points.
Yep, for sure. It's cool to see a fan, explaining some things from his point of view. Let me see, but they keep telling us to talk about the Tony Yayo "I'm So High" record. What up, George? What's popping with you tonight? Yeah, Zeke, "I'm So High" by Tony Yayo is. So let's see. G Unit Smoke songs. 50 Cent, "I'm So High" was the best. Or "I Get High" or whatever.
High all the time.
High all the
high all the time. Mhm.
High all the time. That was the best one. And Banks and Bucks one. Buck had the works one with Buck Marley or Get
Yeah, yeah.
Puff,
He did.
Puff.
I think, and yo, you know who had a good one? Spider Loke. Spider Loke had a good weed song when he was on G Unit. Yeah, it was on. I heard. I don't know if it ever made an album or I know it was on the mixtape though. I used to run that. I used to run that joint heavy. It was on the DJ Who Kid mixtape, and I used to run that joint heavy. That's what like we said earlier. Spider Loke didn't get a chance to even mature in G Unit either. And I really looked at him like, okay, now y'all have opportunity to do a G Unit West thing now. Do the G Unit West thing.
Well, bro, honestly, if Game would have done the G Unit West thing, they could have brought Spider Loke over.
Yeah, that probably would have happened too.
Game screwed the whole thing up, I think.
But and like he said, or I don't know if Mayman earlier said it. Game was already planning to do that shit when he told Jim Jones that on the set of Certified Gangster video. Like you gonna fuck it up or whatever. So that was definitely stupid as shit because it was like, yo, you're on the verge of making all time history. And then it could possibly be 50 might not have been beefing with those other artists or whatever like that. It might have still been a Ja Rule situation, but anything else probably would have made way more music, man. Way more music. Oh, you already know I'm smoking on that Platinum OG. Platinum King.
Yeah, man. We
vibing. Like Mayor said earlier, I understand why he felt like he got robbed. I felt like he got as a fan. Because it could have been so much more.
Damn. Did you get any indication listening to the album that Banks has quit smoking weed? Were there any weed smoking bars on the album?
I think it's a couple, but that's one thing I noticed on there. Now that y'all point that out, that is not a lot of weed. Like Banks, a lot of his previous mixtapes and definitely his album is definitely smoke heavy related. And this one, I didn't get a lot of smoking references. There are some in there, but there is not like real heavy or really emphasized on that.
Yeah, I don't know. We're talking about premium. We're talking about smoke records though that were on the albums, and pretty much just comparing the. I guess we're going 50 high all the time. I would say Tony Yayo's "I'm So High." I'm so high.
No, he up there.
Buck
he
so
probably
high.
Two. He probably number 2.
Was Yayo's really all that great? He just kept on saying everybody was high.
Yeah, it was just a vibe to it or whatever. I give him that.
I'm so high.
50,
so high.
50 got the
so high.
50 got the best one.
Snoop so high. 50 Cent's personal advisor is so high. My assistant just smoked a gram of my weed on my stash. My dog is high. What the hell? Yeah, no. Who isn't high?
That's your man.
Sober around you, man?
That's your man. Yeah, yo. You gotta ask him, yo. What was the thought process? If you ever interview him, please interject that question. Like, what was the thought process on the "I Get High" song?
Everybody's high. That's how Yayo wrote the song. Yayo was looking around the room with his notepad. He's like, Dre's so high. Buck's so high. 50's so high. Oh, no. 50 doesn't get high. Cross that. Bank's so high.
Snoop's so high.
Buck's so high. Oh, I already wrote that one. We be getting high.
Right. The unit get high.
We be getting high. Smoking chocolate tie. What? Did you ever smoke chocolate tie?
Yes, I have.
Was it really good?
Yes, it really was. That's something in the 90s. And it's so crazy because the weed is actually brown. It is actually brown, but the taste is lovely. They got a hell of a cough to it.
Yeah, they're saying that the beat was so fire on that one.
No, I thought I said it was the vibe of it. It was like the vibe. It was the vibe. That's why I put it up there. It wasn't really what he was saying. It's like the vibe and how he put it together.
I'm putting Lloyd Banks' High song above that, man. I'm giving Snoop Dogg's, because when Snoop comes on the song, he's like, weed, roll up. Thought he was an actor. Thought I was a singer.
So yeah, you can say Banks Jones then Yayo. You know, it's because High All the Time is just one of the greatest. And I would have been trying to outdo that. If I was Banks, I'll be trying to outdo, even if I was Yayo, I'll be trying to outdo High All the Time.
Yo, why did Tony Yayo say that the coupe was real smoky off that green Arizona?
Because around that time, Arizona had the best weed.
Okay, because we in Connecticut called Arizona, that was the mid grade.
Yeah, it's pretty much mid grade, but in the city, that's what everybody's smoking.
They were smoking Arizona weed for $100 an ounce.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because this is before exotics.
Yep, exotic was out, but nobody had the money for it like that.
Oh, okay, I'm just kind of concerned that you guys are claiming to smoke Arizona.
Yeah, if anybody said he wasn't, then that's a lie because, like I said, I was trapping on the block at the time.
No, you're right. Everybody was smoking Zona.
Like I said, me and Razor, we were going halves on Ace, Orange Crunch, and Purple Haze, Blueberry Haze. We were going down 700, see Meatball. We were all ending up to get a bundle, you know, of a haze, you know. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It was different times. It was different times.
You couldn't be smoking that all the time. You'd have to be smoking Zona sometimes.
No, you gotta smoke. You getting the 7 of Zona. That was like everybody's daily go-to.
For $25.
Yeah, for $25. Yeah, for $25. That was the set price. The zip was $25. You know, when the zip back there, a old head zip is 7. When I came around, we started calling ounces zips. So it was like back then it was gas though. Now you would get some Zona that looked like exotic.
It wasn't brick.
No, not at all. Straight bud, grown perfectly. Orange hairs, all that.
Hold on.
Hell of a stink.
George McCarthy says Nicetown had them coffins of exotic back then if you ain't smoke Reggie. What's that mean?
No, they had it now. Listen, even when they had the coffins out or whatever like that, that's still after Zona was popping. That's when more exotic started coming out when they got the caskets. Casket, it was just weed. When they packaged the weed in, there were plastic boxes, and they basically just called them caskets because they were long, whatever like that. They had that gas too, but that's really after zone like more exotic started coming out. People started getting more exotic then. But before they had the caskets, everybody smoking Zona.
What are the caskets?
Basically they little square see-through boxes that's like yellow or orange or whatever, and it's basically a rectangle.
Oh, that's crazy. And you can just see the
Mhm.
weed that was in there.
Yeah, and then when you open it up or whatever, it's like a casket.
That's crazy.
That's a hood name. Shout out to the town. Shout out to Chris and Neef. You already know the Young Guns.
Yeah, shout out them guys, man. They really know how to do it big. But yeah, man. All right. So I want to ask everybody last questions. I want to take the last questions for tonight. Whoever has any questions that didn't get them asked or answered, throw them up in the chat right now. Rosewood and I, we're going to finish our smoke and we're going to finish out tonight's podcast. We really do appreciate everybody tuning
Appreciate
in.
everybody.
The course of the inevitable with us. We appreciate everybody coming on and talking about Pooh Shiesty with us tonight and everything else that we've been speaking on. But throw up your last questions. We're going to give everybody a second and we'll answer those last questions.
Right.
Rosewood, how did the show go with Razor and everybody? How was Razor?
Everything went excellent. Everybody performed good. No, all positive vibes, no drawn stuff. And that's how we try and keep it in the city, really trying to uplift the community out here, man. Because, I reiterate only not to glorify. I don't glorify this shit. I'm bringing awareness to the stuff that's going on in my city, man. We got more homicides than days once again. Last year, 500. So we really try and do the stuff for the artists and have safe places for everybody and really have good shows. So it was a perfect showcase. It was a perfect spill showcase. So the next one won't be even major. So definitely.
And major
Indy,
shout out to Rosewood. Major,
Alabama, Philly don't know about grind mode. That's a lie. Because if you can make it in Philly, you can make it anywhere. So I tell you that, my J.
I wanted to give a shout out to Razor as well for going in on his new company, the Book Bully Company.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the way I say bully.
Big EP dropping soon, man. EP dropping soon. Spill ENT, Spill Music Group is always working. Shout LX and Darkskin Ad. Y'all know what up. Let's get Annie. What up, my guy?
Everybody follow Rosewood on Instagram right now. I'm pinning it up right now, guys, so y'all can go follow Rosewood for a follow back. Everybody who wants to get a follow back from Rosewood, go follow my guy right now.
Definitely. And tap into the Spill ENT life, man. Y'all can see what's going on. The web page will be up soon. Me and Razor, we working. Always, man. Always.
We're taking final questions right now. So let's see. Steve Teague says, Coffee Brown is what we call it in Detroit, Pontiac, Flint, Sangua, Benton Harbor, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and Battle Creek. Sorry, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he's saying up there, Detroit, I guess, and up there in Michigan. That's what they call chocolate tar.
Yo, this wasn't taffy, George. This was actually just like the dude who gave me the bud actually gave me like these things that it comes in. I don't really know why because I'm not going to use them. I mean, he already gave. I love it when they just put it in a bag like that, so I don't got to take it out and put it in a bag myself. We're taking the final questions right now. Premium Network asked a question. I'm going to send this to you. Do you think Game would have been successful if he had stayed with G Unit, Rosewood?
Yes, I do think he would have been successful if he stayed with G Unit. Very successful.
Yep.
And still could went on to do more things after that.
Let's see. Husky says, I love the song Commitment on Lloyd Banks' album. He needed to rap on beats that have samples of a woman singing. What do you guys think? Speaking of that, did Razor perform his lemon pepper freestyle?
At the showcase?
Yes.
No. Razor, he was doing so much work hosting, working. Once we throw the event, it's really hard, really hard. So like Birdo performed, Kaboom performed. Kaboom turned it down, teared it down. Shout out to my guy Kaboom. Shout out to OB's Birdo. Shout out to Miss Caution. She tore it down too, man. It's a couple acts that tore it down in that joint.
Rosewood, top 5 Philly cheesesteak spots.
Okay, I'm gonna go with first and foremost. I'm gonna go with D'Alessandro's 1, Max's 2. Ishka Bibbles on South Street number 3. Let me see who's gonna be 4. Pat's is number 4. And I'm trying to think of one more. Damn, there's so many other spots in the city. I'm trying to think like top. For my number 5. Dang, number 5 kind of hard. Damn. I'm gonna go with the Poppy Store. That's my number 5 cheesesteak spot.
All right, so I'm gonna bring this back real quick.
Poppy Store.
I'm gonna bring this back real quick. I'm gonna have you recap your list. I'm gonna cut this for the gram real quick. All right, so Rosewood, they're asking you right
Pagano's. My bad, G. Pagano's is 5th. My bad.
All right, so Rosewood, they want to know. Rosewood, name your top 5 Philly cheesesteak spots to eat at. Tell them, what's the top 5, Rosewood?
All right, like I said, I'll go with D'Alessandro's, Max's. Then I'm going to go with, that's what I said. What I said, D'Alessandro's, Max's, Pat's. Then I got to go with definitely Pagano's. And 5th, I did say one more. What did I say other than that?
I think you said Ishka Bibbles.
Yeah, Ishka Bibbles. There you go. That's my top 5 right there.
There we go. For everybody who wants to know, follow my co-host, follow my guy Rosewood, follow my guy on Instagram right now in the description.
Definitely, man. And since everything opening back up, y'all gonna see on the gram me at all the cheesesteak spots. Since we wasn't able to be around and go to those spots and stuff like that. So now things opening back up. Y'all gonna see me on the gram, showing the cheesesteak spots. Let y'all know what's up.
Run Game says, when is Dark Low going to drop the V-Don album? Well, I'm going to answer that, and then I want you to answer it in a non-biased way, Rosewood, in a way of a real record label CEO, knowing that Dark Low has literally just dropped his last album on May 21st, dropped his the Timeless EP with Harry Fraud. So honestly, Run Game, to answer your question, from that perspective, because I think that's the most important perspective to answer it from. I don't think Dark Low releases another project until August or September at the earliest. Rosewood, what's your thoughts? How soon should Dark Low release the album with V-Don? Is it too soon towards the Harry Fraud project?
Now, I was thinking, as far as music-wise, it would be coming out. It would be, if he was putting it out, it would be around, like you say, like September going into October going into the fall. Sound like the end of the summer. Putting it out at the end of the summer.
So I think the most important thing for Dark Low to do right now would probably to do the videos from the album.
Yeah, definitely. It's still more promotion and more push that he got to do for the album now. Before you put out another project and oversaturate the market.
Right. Right. I don't think it would actually be the best thing for his to do to just release a whole nother project. As much as I'm sure you want it, Run Game, as much as everybody wants the new project, but you guys got to understand this album with Harry Fraud has given the anticipation a whole nother level for Dark Low's next project. Am I right or wrong with that, Rosewood?
No. It definitely has. It definitely has. So, and that's another thing. He has a strategy. This is my opinion. He will have a strategy on how he's going to put out these albums. Which Jones are going to spark the interest, so you can be in tune for the next album to come up. So whatever format he has, you definitely can't oversaturate the market, and you have to set up your timing, so the people want to hear it.
Andy says, "Yo, Rosewood,
By Grime Mo.
yep. He wants you to go. He wants you to go check that out. You try Oregon Steaks on Oregon Ave. They getting a lot of attention.
No, I never tried them. If they're new, I haven't tried them.
Ozone J says, Rosewood, you can't forget Paganos.
Oh no, I threw Paganos in there. That was fifth. I put two Paganos in there. I said my bad. I said my bad, Ozone. I threw Paganos in there.
Rosewood, shout out to your knowledge, my guy.
Appreciate it, my J. Always, Andy. Always. That's what we here for on Report Card Radio.
Coolander says, game could have been way bigger had he not bit the hand. Yeah, like Rosewood had said earlier, Game's first two albums went platinum. And then as his third, fourth, and fifth albums came out, he was like his sales started to dwindle. I think if he would have rocked with 50, he would have had more success. But then you really got to ask yourself, how long are these guys really going to stay signed to the label, man? Like with all this Meek Mill, Rick Ross talk, like how long was Meek Mill supposed to stay signed to Rick Ross, Rosewood? Like he signed what, 1, 2, 3, 4? He's already fifth. He's supposed to still be signed with Rick Ross 5, 6 albums in. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't show growth and development. But the thing was, Game was supposed to rock out until his time came for him to branch off. And I think it would have been easier for Game to branch off because he had the backing of Dr. Dre and the West Coast. So it would have made 50 really invest in G Unit West, and then in turn invest in G Unit South and say, oh, all right, Game can run that. They don't really need me to say, all right, this is the structure, do it like this. They got their format. Buck doesn't even do it down south because he has the down south format. But like we said earlier, the little situations 50 had with people that kind of stopped that and put it to a halt.
Let me see. Shout out Razor.
Salute my J. Appreciate all the love, man. Big Earth about to drop soon, man.
King Queen says, one question. Why do you think Vado isn't respected fully as a lyricist, same way as Banks? Rosewood, you want to take that?
Banks putting out the projects that he put out as far as albums and mixtapes, and then that's staying relevant. Like we said, coming back with Beamer, Benz, and Bentley, and now 10 years later coming out with a prolific album. So that's why Banks get the flowers that he gets.
All right, so Mr. Money has a question about Pooh. He says, do y'all think it's unfair to criticize Pooh Shiesty when gangster rappers do gangster things? People have a problem. If he got robbed, he would have got clowned, but he bust his gun like he claims. Now, let's address that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's address that, man. Now,
that's a good question too, my J. I appreciate that question, bro.
Let me say, when you are an artist that's on the way to making like $20-30 million in a year or in 2 or 3 years time span, which Pooh Shiesty obviously was in a position to do, putting your freedom in jeopardy on the line over $20,000 or $30,000 is stupid. You know what I'm saying? As much as all of us out here crave to have that money and say how important it is, when you're worth that on any given day and you put it in jeopardy to prove that you're real, yeah, man, that is stupid. I'm not going to pull any punches. You know what I mean? You can say anything about being gangster all you want, but there's another thing. It's called being intelligent. You know what I mean?
And it's also called having critical thinking. But I just want to go into the thing with, all right, boom, a gangster is somebody that do gangster things. A gangster rapper isn't a gangster. A gangster rapper is somebody that raps about the gangster things that they either were involved in the past the statute of limitations, or they give you a story from people around them and they're changing the name. So that's the difference. So it doesn't have nothing to do with you proving your pride. You swallow your pride because you value your freedom and you set it up. Like I said earlier, it doesn't make any sense for me because you're supposed to where your OGs at to let you know the stories of the prodigies, what they went through, and these other artists that went through stuff that they didn't have to go through by being gangster. Look at Troy Ave. Even though he's defending himself or whatever, he was still being on the gangster shit, even when they were going back and forth. So it led to being some gangster shit that you could have kind of avoided. And now both parties are in fucked up situations. So you don't have to only think about yourself. You have to think about the people around you that's going to be affected, the other people in the club itself, and your future. So none of that's worth it. You can't really put that up there. Like I said, it was a good question, but you just can't put that up there and say that's worth it more than your freedom or all the money that you're about to make if you weren't getting locked up and you already have a case that you're fighting. You don't need that extra shit over your head.
Okay, let me see. Ghost Lone Wolf says Nicki Minaj, Eminem, and 50 Cent on a song. What do you think?
Right now, maybe 20, maybe in 2015, but right now, nah.
Easy Murder. Do you think there's any room for a G Unit reunion?
I don't think so. I saw that easy murder. I saw that in the comments. Nah, I don't think so. I don't. I don't. I don't think so. It would have happened. It would have happened.
Husky, we will keep you up to date on the Casanova news as we get it, my dude. If there's any updates, we will bring it to you tomorrow, my guy. I didn't hear anything about 50 headlining Rolling Loud.
I ain't heard that one either. I ain't hear that one.
Don, no, I am not. King Queen, salute to you. You are awesome. Dark Low is a legendary Philly rapper. What do you think, Rosewood?
I can't say legendary. I can't put that on because there's so many legendary rappers in Philadelphia way before that. That's up there. So the legendary title, can't use that word loosely in Philadelphia.
Yeah, like Beanie Siegel is legendary.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But Beanie Siegel, was Beanie Siegel, when Beanie Siegel was in the middle of his career, was he already legendary?
In the middle of his career?
Yeah, like when he was released. Like he was one of the artists that you could just tell was legendary while he was there.
Yeah. In the middle of his career, yes. Yeah.
You're like, wow, this guy is like something to be around. Is that
Yeah.
for everybody though, or am I like tripping? Is that how every big major artist is? or some people just you can tell that they're legendary?
No. Some people grow into the legendary status, and then some people you just see it in them. And he had his own stunts that set him back, but he was legendary in the middle of his career. He definitely was. You know, Jada Kiss is legendary, and he don't even get the recognition that he's supposed to. But he was legendary already. In whatever part of career you want to say. But like I said, the legendary title, especially with Philly, we don't throw that around lightly.
Okay, let me see. All right, here we go. Let me see. They ask, Jesse B says, can Lloyd Banks make a complete solo comeback without G Unit? As Steve was in here saying before, that album Hunger for More 2 was more than likely supposed to come out on another label. He had said
Yeah.
Def Jam. I don't know for sure. I
Right.
think a bigger parent label would have been better for that Hunger for More 2 album with all the major
Definitely.
features. So can Lloyd Banks make a career by himself? I think it's evident that Lloyd Banks can make a career by himself with the way
Yeah.
that he marketed and promoted his album and got all the features.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, he showed us right here. And even in that Stranger Things song, is some of the things he's saying is like basically like, look, I didn't fade out. The talent didn't fade.
Okay, Jesse said Beanie was legendary in Philly only in the middle of his career. I think now he's legendary everywhere. That's interesting to look at there. You know what I mean? Because but honestly, me watching Beanie, you could tell. You know what I mean? You could tell that there was something about him in in the same way that you could tell that there was something about 50, in the same way that
Mm-hmm.
you could tell that there was something about Big. You know what I mean?
Because even when they were underground, it was just something about them like, yo, these guys could be stars. We hope they can get the position they need to make music. Make quality music. Not just underground. And the like you said, those artists right there.
That's what's up, man.
Or I would say like Black Thought. Black Thought is legendary in the city as a rapper. Black Thought is legendary. That's legendary right there. Black Thought. Schoolie D, he's legendary in the city. You know, the word legendary doesn't get thrown around lightly. You have to
Yeah,
really put
don't
him.
throw that word around because like some people will try to make sure people don't become legendary. You know what I mean?
Yo, that is facts. That's facts. That's facts. That's probably why we don't throw it around lightly. So it's like when we say it, it's the proof is in the pudding, and that person put in that work to do it.
Yeah, man. But I want everybody to go follow Rosewood right now.
Salute, appreciate it,
You know,
Yeah,
everybody's gonna
definitely
be.
give that a follow back, man. Tapping in the spill life.
It's pinned up right now. I need everybody to go follow Rosewood. And if you guys want to follow me, anybody in here not following me on the gram, follow Mikey T for a follow back. I'll follow everybody that follows me back immediately. I'm about to roll up another L. Rosewood, what are you fitting to get in for the rest of the night? You
Uh, Actually, Mikey T, I'm taking it down. I gotta go to rest in peace, my cousin Dwayne. I gotta go to his funeral tomorrow, and then I'll be in the studio. Be in the studio on a late night working, man. Working.
All right, man. I hear you, man. Yeah, we got things to do, you guys, but we're gonna hit y'all tomorrow night. I'm glad everybody joined us tonight for the podcast. I'm glad. Easy. We'll talk about that a little bit later, man.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'll give him. I was gonna say this for easy. Now, if 50 is headlining, do I think he's gonna bring Banks out?
That's a topic for a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know,
That's
but
a topic for a whole nother conversation, bro.
it would be nice. Put it like that. It would be nice. It would be nice.
That right there, bro. That sounds like its own video, Easy Murder. You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking out for Polo G new album, Husky Andy. I'm going to check out Polo G joint.
All right, Husky. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all, man. Everybody shoot me a follow. I'll follow you back. Follow Rosewood right now at spill_ENT. It's pinned up if you're not following them already.
Spill ENT. You already know what it is, man. Spill_ENT on the gram. The website will be up soon. You know, YouTube page, everything will be up soon. In the meantime, the Big Earth Project by Razor is about to drop pretty soon. After that, my artist LX under Spill, she'll be dropping around like August, October. You know, putting these bangers out, Mikey T. You know,
Sounds
putting these
good,
bangers
man.
out, we working.
I look forward to having some of them on the channel this year, man. But everybody,
definitely.
tap in later with us, man. We'll see you on the next episode.
Salute.